For now, we're going to do it as a demonstration, donations, events, and keep talking about the fact that we really need to recycle and use our precious commodity.
Lenny Mendoza founded and owns Half Moon Bay Brewing Company. At any given time, 10 of the company's draft beers are on tap at its bar. One not publicly available is called Tunnel Vision.
With this beer, we made a special brew of it with gray water.
The treated wastewater used to brew Tunnel Vision came from NASA astronauts aboard space shuttles, and at first had a little extra chlorine.
So we had to dechlorinate it to meet our standards, and then it was brewed and tastes exactly like the beer that we brew from the tap water here.
But what about the yuck factor?
Water that's recycled properly is totally drinkable, and if you can use gray water to make a really high-end, high-quality beer, and it tastes great, then why wouldn't you drink it?
It's not legal in California right now to sell beer brewed with recycled wastewater, but it can be donated. So Mendoza contributed Tunnel Vision for a beer taste test at a recent conference.
To show the importance of reusing this valuable resource called our water, and to demonstrate that you could brew beer from that kind of water.
For the taste test, a panel of 4 tried to distinguish between beer brewed with tap water and beer brewed with astronauts purified wastewater.
Only half of the people got it right, and everyone said they both tasted great. And the reaction for all of the audience who tasted it afterwards was they loved it.
Mendoza expects beer made from wastewater to be on the California market in 12 to 18 months. Jan Sluicer, Half Moon Bay.
This is Monday, December 28th, 2015, as we say happy birthday to the Pledge of Allegiance, officially recognized by Congress on this day in 1945. And that's it for this half hour of America in the Morning, produced by Tom Dulac. Associate producer and webmaster is Paul Hill, senior producer Kevin Delaney, and I'm Michael Toscano. This is Westwood One News.
Hi, Tom Hartman here. Join me 9 to noon on Newsradio 1030 KMAS. But the policies of Christianity that were defined by Jesus, not necessarily by Paul or some of the other followers, and certainly not by Jerry Falwell, but the policies defined by Jesus that you can read in the Sermon on the Mount or you can read in Matthew 25 are unabashedly progressive. They're unabashedly liberal. I mean, Jesus was the original liberal.
The craziness is returning to the kennel.
Wiltshire behind his back with a dribble, and he scores. Got Kornowski to his left, pulls up, shoots, scores, and a foul.
Zags basketball from IMG.
Corner, Nelson driving, baseline, and a two-handed throw down dunk. Oh my goodness, Silas Nelson.
From tip-off to the final buzzer.
And throws it down with 2 hands.
Follow the action all season long on your home for Bulldogs basketball, the Gonzaga IMG Sports Network.
Heading out of town? Listen to KMAS Shelton wherever you have a cell signal. Check out our website customized for your smartphone and listen online at KMAS.com.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. The eastern edge of Dallas is in ruins after a string of Texas tornadoes, more than 10, that left 11 dead and entire neighborhoods devastated. The governor has declared disasters in 4 counties, and ABC's Jim Ryan tells us more bad weather is making things worse.
Hundreds of North Texans are left cleaning up the mess left by the weekend storms. The job is made more miserable by today's weather conditions. A cold rain is falling down into damaged houses and soaking everything in sight.
The bad weather has seriously scrambled airline schedules. ABC's Lindsay Janis has that story.
More than 690 flights canceled across the country. Now that comes on top of 1,700 cancellations and 6,000 delays on Sunday, one of the busiest travel days of the holiday season. The worst hit airports so far this morning, Chicago, O'Hare, also Midway, and Dallas is still bad after having a third of its flights affected on Sunday.
Demanding answers and justice in Chicago. The families of a man and woman shot and killed by police during a domestic disturbance call. Police say the man who answered the door was combative and the woman accidentally hit in the crossfire. ABC's Alex Perez says their explanation offered cold comfort.
The loved ones speaking today saying they're just frustrated with this. They want to see a change, not just in their neighborhood or in their area, but in the entire city and with the entire police department. Family members and loved ones accused the police department of having a culture of shooting first and asking questions later, and they say that needs to change.
Childhood asthma rates are heading lower for the first time in decades. A new study credits a plateau in obesity and a decline in air pollution. Peyton Manning dismisses as garbage an Al Jazeera report that he used human growth hormone to recover from an injury. The source turned out to be a 3-month unpaid intern at the medical center where he was treated, who now says he made it up to test the reporter. The man in flip-flops, sunglasses, swimming shorts, and a baseball cap, enjoying ice cream under a tree in Hawaii with his family, turned out to be President Obama, who shook hands with people who recognized him. This is ABC News.
Another saving secret from Arm & Hammer. Most people aren't crazy about doing the laundry, but everyone loves saving money. Arm & Hammer Plus OxyClean Power Packs makes doing the wash easier with convenient single-dose packs and gives you a savings of up to 50% versus the leading pod. And what's even better, Arm & Hammer Power Packs are the only ones with the 2-in-1 cleaning power of baking soda plus OxyClean Stain Fighters. Arm & Hammer Plus OxyClean Power Packs. It has what everyone likes. Big clean, small price. Finally, there's a lightweight cat litter that doesn't act lightweight. It's Arm & Hammer Clump and Seal Lightweight.
My name is Erin, and I'm a professional pet sitter. I deal with cat litter all day. Clump and Seal Lightweight is amazing on odor. It's super easy to carry, and there's absolutely no dust.
No other litter seals and destroys odor and is 50% lighter than our regular litter and 100% dust-free.
It changed how I feel about a lightweight litter. I would recommend it to my friends and my clients.
Get 7-day odor control and no dust in Arm & Hammer Clump and Seal Lightweight.
The Big Apple is about to get some tiny apartments. More from ABC's Dave Schreiber.
At one time, New York was known for the small living quarters that immigrants had to endure. Now, new apartments are going up that are an experiment in small. A new Manhattan building due to open next year features little balconies, tall ceilings, dishwashers, and storage space. All of that in 360 square feet or less. Advocates for this type of living say it is an affordable adaptation to a growing population of single people. Critics wonder whether less space will be less expensive. Dave Schreiber, ABC News, New York.
It's a whole new wave of Beatles songs ratings. The Fab Four released more than 200 of their songs on streaming services on Christmas Eve, and the downloading was heavy. But the most downloaded song was Come Together, followed by Let It Be and Hey Jude. By the way, on Spotify, 65% of those who downloaded them were under the age of 34. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Mary Lynn Foster. A group called the Waste Action Project, part of the Northwest Toxic Communities Coalition, is suing the city of Shelton for taking too long in cleaning up the dump, also known as the Shelton landfill. Local citizen and member of the Waste Action Project, Will Durham, says the group wants to make sure the city of Shelton fulfills its obligation to clean the dump and protect the citizens and their children from further exposure to toxins from the landfill. You can read the full press release about the lawsuit on our website at KMAS.com. The former Olympia Brewery property in Tumwater has been sold for $4 million. The buyer, Tumwater Development LLC of Anaheim, California, registered as a corporation in Washington on December 14th. The vacant property has attracted potential buyers over the years, but no deal came to fruition. A public auction was held in October, and 3 of its 4 parcels received bids that were well below market value. Thurston County Treasurer Sean Myers says all the parcels have now sold at close to their assessed value. Further information about what the buyer plans to do with the property has not yet been made available. When businesses want to come into Shelton, the city and the fire department interact quite a bit to get things up to code. Shelton Community and Economic Development Director Steve Goines and Assistant Fire Chief from Central Mason Fire and EMS Mike Patty told Daybreak more.
Someone wants to come into an old building that maybe has been something else. Mel Chevrolet comes to mind. It was a car dealership, and we want to change the use into a different use. That has a lot of code ramifications that we need to coordinate. What are the exiting requirements? What are the fire protection requirements for this type of use in a building?
We meet if not more often, at least weekly, between the fire, building, planning, engineering. We all meet together at least once a week to talk about things that are coming up. Sometimes we're hearing rumors afloat because a lot of us are out in the community, so we'll come together there and talk about what ifs, hypotheticals. So yeah, the fire department and the city, we work surprisingly close together and have a great relationship.
See the full interview on the Daybreak page at KMAS.com. Washington state officials have decided to let the statewide drought declaration expire at the end of this year. The team that advises Governor Jay Inslee on the issue recommended that the State Department of Ecology not extend the drought declaration at this time. Another drought declaration could be considered next year if water supply conditions change. Ecology says the heavy rain and snow have eliminated the drought in western Washington, and drought conditions are improving in eastern Washington. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
Hi, Tom Hartman here. Join me 9 to noon on News Radio 1030 KMAS. This is not an election cycle where middle-of-the-road Democrats are going to stir up enough of the base and enough excitement and enthusiasm that they're going to seriously win elections. And that's the thing that Republicans have figured out, Democrats have yet to learn, which is that elections are not about swaying so-called undecided voters. They're about stirring up the base. The base will bring the undecided voters along with them. They'll do it through social media. They'll do it through talking to their neighbors. They'll do it by talking to people in the workplace. But you've got to energize the base.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
NFL playoff spots secured, others still available, and the Clown Prince of basketball is gone. Hi, everybody. Todd Ant reporting on sports. The Vikings emphatically clinched a playoff berth on Sunday night and moved into a tie with Green Bay for first place in the NFC North.
And Jerick McKinnon is loose inside the 10. Touchdown!
On KFAN, Minnesota ripped the Giants 49-17. The Jets climbed ahead of Pittsburgh for the final AFC wildcard berth thanks to a gamble by Coach Bill Belichick, who elected to kick in overtime. Ryan Fitzpatrick did the rest.
Lobs it back right corner. Decker! He's got it! Touchdown! And the Jets have won it in overtime!
On ESPN New York, Jets 26-20 over New England. The Panthers' undefeated season is over after losing 20-13 at Atlanta. Quarterback Cam Newton was candid.
We got our kicked today. We can take some from it and use it for our next game against Tampa.
Carolina can still clinch home field advantage next week. More from Week 16 in the NFL. The Cardinals sacked Aaron Rodgers 8 times on their way to a first-round bye.
Snap to Rodgers, backs up, gets hit, fumbles the ball again. It's loose, it's picked up by the Cardinals, and it's Gerard Powers, and he's going to score. Freeney with the sack, and the Cardinals lead 37-8.
On KTAR, Arizona slams the Packers 38-8. So with Carolina's loss, Arizona can clinch the #1 seed with a win over Seattle next week. The Chiefs clinched a playoff spot with a 9th straight win, 17-13 over the Browns.
Shotgun snap back to Alex Smith. Fires for Kelsey. He makes a long catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City.
On 101 The Fox, the Steelers were stunned 20-17 in Baltimore. They dropped out of a playoff spot now to 7th place. He was called the Clown Prince of basketball. Meadowlark Lemon, who played with the Harlem Globetrotters for 4 decades, has died. His wife told the New York Times he was 83. Dave Henderson, an outfielder with 5 Major League Baseball teams, died Sunday. He was 57. And Jim O'Toole, a star pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds in the 60s, died. He was 78. Todd Ant, ABC Sports.
That's the air going out of the Seahawk balloon of optimism.
They've already made the playoffs, though, right?
Yeah. They looked real playoff-esque yesterday, didn't they? Hey, for News Radio 1030 KMAS, Shelton, FM 103.3. I've been depressed since yesterday.
It's just
and
a game.
KMAS.com. 6:10 on a Monday. And a beatdown in Seattle. Bad.
23-17 wasn't even that close. And St. Louis has swept the season series and won 3 of their last 4. I mean, Seattle looked like, the junior high team out there. We got beat up, punched in the nose. Horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. It won't get any better. They're going to Arizona next week, and they take on a Cardinals team that is playing smash-mouth football, maybe at a level higher than the St. Louis Rams. As they whooped on Green Bay like they were junior high kids. Man, I tell you what, things are starting to shape up. One bright note yesterday, Carolina lost. Yay! Major League outfielder Dave Henderson has passed away, a massive heart attack at the age of 57. Died at Harborview Medical Center early yesterday, according to statements by the Mariners, one of the 5 teams that Hendu played for in his career. Maybe best known, though, for his home run in the 86 American League Champion Series. He was playing for Boston, and the Red Sox were just 1 strike from being eliminated in Game 5 when Hendu hit a 2-out, 2-strike, 2-run homer in the top of the 9th inning against the Angels and sent the series back to Boston, and the Red Sox won Game 6 and 7 and did, in fact, advance to the World Series that year in 1986. Dead of a heart attack, and, we've got great memories. He came and visited with us about a year ago.
Yeah.
And you got pictures of Kaiser and him, and very cool, but he'll be sorely missed by the Mariners organization for sure. He's been doing a lot of community outreach and fantasy baseball camps and those sort of things here as of late. Meanwhile, over the weekend, got to congratulate the Washington State Cougars, 2014 winners over Miami in the Snow Bowl, called the Sun Bowl, but it was a blizzard.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
It was pretty snowy.
Yes, it was amazing. It was amazing. Luke Falk back under center and threw a couple of TD passes. 2014, the final over Miami on Saturday. And also the Huskies won the Heart of Dallas Bowl over Southern Miss 44-31, got out of town just in time to miss what is maybe historically the most devastating series of storms ever in the history of Dallas. So, the Heart of Dallas Bowl was played under less than ideal conditions, and then as soon as that game was over, I guess there were some Southern Mississippi fans that got caught up in that storm, didn't get out of town in time.
Partying too hard.
And, so anyway, that's kind of a snapshot of sports activity over what was a long weekend. A couple of games going on today. Navy is playing in the Military Bowl, or Salute to Military Bowl, or something. And there's another bowl game today, and then I think there's 4 bowl games tomorrow. The big ones are all this next weekend during New Year's and New Year's Eve. So we'll get to those as the week progresses. Snow up in our end of the county over the weekend, and a little bit of snow on the sides of the roads this morning. It's 34 degrees on my commute in. Jeff, what do we have for weather?
Well, that's about right. We're at 33 now, cloudy skies, and not really seeing much of anything today, although tomorrow there could be a little bit of snow during the day. 38. It was very cold, and now will not get much warmer than it is now. Looking like a clear stretch, though, starting to Wednesday, and that's for the next 10 days or so after that. So maybe just a little bit of snow tomorrow. Pretty good.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from the gateway to the Olympic Mountains, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It's Daybreak here on a Monday morning, and a good morning to you. It's the 28th of December, last week of the year 2015. Wow, very exciting stuff. Mary Lynn Foster has some news here in just about 15 minutes. And today on the radio, expecting to talk with Lynn Longan from the Mason County Economic Development Council and also Brian LaFlame from the LaFlame Group. Some pretty regular programming throughout the week. Guest-wise, though, Thursday, we welcome outgoing Commissioner Mike Olson to the radio at 8:15 to discuss his time behind the bench and what is next for him around these parts. Long-time worker for the city. He works hard for the city. Brought that pickleball thing last year, a couple years ago. And, well, I'm sure that's just one of the facets of Mike Olson's future here around these parts. So other than the Seahawks, how you doing?
Oh, fine. How about you?
I'm great. And I don't... It's just a game, so I don't want to get too worked up about these things.
6 tanks, industrial tanks in the Bellingham waterfront being reimagined. Huh? As public art, the Bellingham Herald reporting the architect and developer are trying to save the digester tanks at site of a former Georgia Pacific pulp and paper mill from demolition. The architect, John Reed, says the tanks could be used throughout the waterfront to pay homage to the state's history.
Oh, that's nice. There is a lot of that up there. The old, you can see that kind of from where we would go sit and eat lunch at Western. You look over and you see Georgia Pacific and the whole big, that's the whole bay was them. They do have those tanks there. It looks pretty, man, they could reimagine it, maybe put some murals or something about the history. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Lots of headline news, but nothing super devastating like what was going on in Dallas the last couple of days.
Right.
King County Sheriff's Deputy is being featured in a new national campaign that brings awareness to public service. Deputy Ricardo Cueva has been selected to participate in the Why I Serve campaign, which shares the stories of people who serve their communities.
Huh. Isn't that really cool?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Railroad officials say there was a 7-year-old child that suffered a leg injury Sunday after a train hit a car he was riding in when the car got stuck on the tracks about a spot 80 miles east of Seattle. Railway spokesman Gus Malonis says the boy was one of 8 people in the vehicle when it became stuck at about 5:30 p.m. on a stretch of track near Cleellum. Malonis says a train headed from Portland to North Dakota hit the vehicle, but the 7-year-old was the only one injured. Wow, scary. Imagine that. You see it coming and you really can't do much about it.
Right.
Cars stopped.
That would be
a lot of people in that car, too.
Tough feeling indeed. State Department of Transportation reopened the 3rd northbound lane of I-5 near Woodland after a landslide had closed it. Only 2 lanes of the freeway have been open since the landslide on December 9th and kept northbound I-5 closed for more than a day just north of the Washington-Oregon border. Officials say Hillside needs to be stabilized after dumping debris, trees, and car-sized boulders on the roadway. So apparently the 3rd lane, the northbound lane, is reopened, but it took a while. It took about a week. It took a couple weeks to get that thing done. So
I just looked up Maltby, Washington. They're going to be making a park out of an old horse farm there. Anyways, I looked up Maltby, and some of the images that showed up include, well, a picture of kind of where it is, Echo Lake off 522, but then a weird picture of a dude that says supposed to be the most haunted graveyard in Washington State. I have to do a little more research on this one.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
I'm Chris Rose with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Week 16 of NFL action featured some big-time upsets, starting with the lone unbeaten, the Carolina Panthers. The Falcons' D stepped up to hold Cam Newton only 142 yards. Final score, Falcons 20, Panthers 13. Then Ryan Mallett and the Ravens stunned the Steelers 20-17. Pittsburgh is now on the outside looking in for the playoffs. The team that just jumped the Steelers, the New York Jets, who, thanks to the Patriots electing to kick off the ball in overtime, marched down the field Ryan Fitzpatrick hit Eric Decker for the game-winning score. Meanwhile, the Rams were able to slow down the Seahawks to get their first win in Seattle since the 2004 playoffs. And in the desert, the Cardinals put on a pass rush clinic, sacking Aaron Rodgers a career-high 8 times to rout the Pack 38-8. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Call Quicken Loans now to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the 2nd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Geico applauds your inner road champion.
A solid bump from Geico's fist to yours goes out to the little rebel that lives within. The one who made you daydream as a kid about owning a chopper, chroming it out, and chewing on toothpicks. Just to look tough. For you, champ, Geico insures motorcycles with great rates. And to further fuel your engine, you can access your policy anytime, day or night through the Geico mobile app. Because Geico knows that even make-believe renegades need help from time to time.
Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
Hi, this is Kelly Crabtree from Maple Glen Senior Living, where we believe that Christmas is the best time of year. For the staff and residents at Maple Glen, it's a time for enjoying friends and family and for sending warmest wishes to special people like you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from all of us at Maple Glen.
Greetings of the season from the folks at the Camilchi Dental Center. They wish you the joys of Christmas and prosperity throughout the new year. Again, best wishes and Merry Christmas from the Camilchi Dental Center.
Washington Health Plan Finder has extended its open enrollment through January 31st, 2016. You can still register yourself or a family for a health plan, and Mason General Hospital can help you get set up. Simply go online and visit masongeneral.com and click on the Washington Health Plan Finder on the homepage. Browse the various plans available, and when you find the one you want, let Mason General make sure you're qualified and help you sign up. Find the plan and call Susanna Lopez, Project Supervisor, at 432-7766. Washington Health Plan Finder. Open enrollment through January 31st, 2016.
Mason General Hospital and family of clinics. Equal opportunity provider. Translation services provided.
Mason General and family of clinics.
Start your mornings live and local with Daybreak on KMAS Shelton. Join Jeff and Dale weekdays from 6 to 9 on AM 1030 or FM 1033.
Hi, this is Greg Clark from the City of Shelton Public Works Department, and you're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It's 6:24 here as we end the new year. A lot of times people look back, reflect, take stock of things they have, things they are involved with, and
things they don't have.
Try to understand their level of involvement and how they fit in with things. State Patrol's not doing too good, are they? Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, yeah, there was a State Patrol story. I don't think morale is high there for some reason. There's a study that's being done, new report was commissioned by the legislature, found the state troopers are not just underpaid, they're also unhappy with management. Times reports that troopers are planning to leave the state agency in the near future. Many of the troopers, and those plans stem not just because of their pay, but or because they are nearing retirement age. The report calls the situation unsustainable and makes recommendations for how the State Patrol can do a better job of keeping and recruiting troopers. More than half of the nearly 500 troopers and sergeants who responded to a survey say their opinions are not taken into account by the Washington State Patrol. And 46% of those responding say they don't feel valued by the agency. The report says low morale is impacting the agency's operations. And there's been a big push for recruitment of new troopers here as of late. And this kind of hits close to home with the State Patrol Academy here located in Mason County.
2-year-old black lab has been specially trained to comfort crime victims at the courthouse in Thurston County. The Olympian reports Marshall, I'm guessing that's the dog's name, black lab, 2-year-old, The job simply to be there for victims, placing heads in laps, allowing Marshall to get pet. Here is providing comfort. He's here to provide comfort, making the experience a little more bearable for victims of domestic violence and other traumatic crimes who want to speak about their experiences with attorneys. Marshall is an Aussie, going to Hawaii as a pup. Started training with the Assistance Dogs of Hawaii. Pretty cool stuff. The prosecutor's office applied for a dog back in November, and the group in Hawaii is providing Marshall worth about $40,000 in all the training that the dog does, free of charge. Victim advocate for the prosecutor's office and Marshall's caretaker flew over to Hawaii for the training. That's an interesting story.
Yeah, that's a good story. Good story. All right, 6:27. News coming up. Here we are on the 28th of December. A short week again for many. Many taking this week off between Christmas and New Year's as well. But New Year's Eve is Thursday and New Year's Day Friday. 2016 on the horizon. Yeah.
Went and saw Star Wars on yesterday morning, 10:45, way early in the morning. And poof.
And a full house.
It was packed. I loved it. I saw myself there at the thing. There was a kid sitting next to me. And whatever the music is comes out. And then the text scrolls. And the kid next to me is reading it out loud. It's great. I enjoy that. And he was into it. During the exciting action sequences, he was getting up all up on his chair, putting his hands in his head and going, oh, wow, the spectacle of the movie.
How old was he, you think?
12. Yeah. Maybe. I didn't realize it was a PG-13 fantasy violence. It was a good movie, man. We had reviews. Dale went and saw it last week. We had other reviews given, and I'd say it was very similar to the 77 one, and then Empire and Return of the Jedi. Way more similar to those movies than the original, than like episodes 1, 2, 3. You know, it's so complicated to explain, but it was so good.
It was a good movie.
Now that I think back more and more.
Do you want to go see it again?
Nah, I don't need to see it again. I got it. I was paying attention.
It's the holiday giveaway, part 2 this week, as we ran out of time, and we still have goodies to give away. So you early morning risers here this morning, you can give us the call, dial us up at 462-1041. We'd be happy to take your phone calls this morning. A $50 gift certificate to Impressions Dentistry.
Yeah.
You need a little dental work there. They're located in Thurston County, and a new advertiser and a new participant with us. We also have one more pair of tickets to the Elma Wine Festival. That's coming up in January on the 23rd, I think. And that is going to be a big event at the Grays Harbor Event Center there at the Grays Harbor Fairgrounds in Elma, coming up and sponsored by the Elma Chamber. Also, $10 food certificates to the LC3, the new log cabin.
Yeah.
And they serve up some mighty fine steaks. I'm telling you that right now.
I've heard about this.
Mighty fine.
All right, 6:30 here. Mary Lynn Foster has the news. After that, we'll come back with some more looks on sports over the weekend. Win for the Cougs, win for the Huskies. Not so much for the Hawks. We'll have all that information for you right after this news.
You're
Mary Lynn
listening to
Foster.
Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Mary Lynn Foster. A group called the Waste Action Project, part of the Northwest Toxic Communities Coalition, is suing the city of Shelton for taking too long in cleaning up the dump, also known as the Shelton landfill. Local citizen and member of the Waste Action Project, Will Durham, says the group wants to make sure the city of Shelton fulfills its obligation to clean the dump and protect the citizens and their children from further exposure to toxins from the landfill. You can read the full press release about the lawsuit on our website at KMAS.com. The former Olympia Brewery property in Tumwater has been sold for $4 million. The buyer, Tumwater Development LLC of Anaheim, California, registered as a corporation in Washington on December 14th. The vacant property has attracted potential buyers over the years, but no deal came to fruition. A public auction was held in October, and 3 of its 4 parcels received bids that were well below market value. Thurston County Treasurer Sean Myers says all the parcels have now sold at close to their assessed value. Further information about what the buyer plans to do with the property has not yet been made available. When businesses want to come into Shelton, the city and the fire department interact quite a bit to get things up to code. Shelton Community and Economic Development Director Steve Goines and Assistant Fire Chief from Central Mason Fire and EMS Mike Patty told Daybreak more.
Someone wants to come into an old building that maybe has been something else. Mel Chevrolet comes to mind. It was a car dealership, and we want to change the use into a different use. That has a lot of code ramifications that we need to coordinate. What are the exiting requirements? What are the fire protection requirements for this type of use in a building?
We meet, if not more often, at least weekly, between the fire, building, planning, engineering. We all meet together at least once a week to talk about things that are coming up. Sometimes we're hearing rumors afloat because a lot of us are out in the community, so we'll come together there and talk about what ifs. Hypotheticals. So yeah, the fire department and the city, we work surprisingly close together and have a great relationship.
See the full interview on the Daybreak page at KMAS.com. Washington state officials have decided to let the statewide drought declaration expire at the end of this year. The team that advises Governor Jay Inslee on the issue recommended that the State Department of Ecology not extend the drought declaration at this time. Another drought declaration could be considered next year if water supply conditions change. Ecology says the heavy rain and snow have eliminated the drought in western Washington, and drought conditions are improving in eastern Washington. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
'Tis the season to give, and Whitney Chevrolet wants to give you the best value for your trade. This is Doug Sample from Whitney Chevrolet, and we want to give you what you're looking for. If it's not on our lot, we can pull from our other lots. Whitney Chevrolet wants you to have the best value and the best price. It's all about giving this year, so give Whitney Chevrolet a call or stop by our lot, whitneychev.com.
A $150 negotiable document fee may be added to the price of all vehicles.
Just down the road to Whitney's.
Financial advice you can understand on the Dave Ramsey Show.
My grandmother, God rest her soul, used to give us Series AA savings bonds for our kids. It was for their college. Now you put these away for their college. Every so often she would ask me, how are those bonds doing? And I would tell her the truth. They're doing great. Because I had cashed them in, and now that money was invested in a mutual fund in the kid's name, and they were doing great. Had I left them in those stupid EEs, they wouldn't be doing great. Hi, this is Dave Ramsey. Tune into my show weekdays from noon to 3 here on KMAS.
For News Radio 1030 KMAS Shelton, FM 103.3 and KMAS.com with your video and your audio this morning. I'm Dale Hubbard. Rams and the Seahawks 5-game winning streak, 23-17. Yesterday, Seattle, for the first time since Russell Wilson has been the starter for the team. So the first game of the 2012 season. It's the first time that we haven't had a lead.
Whoa.
In a game. Isn't that bizarre? So we didn't blow the lead.
Okay.
It's the only good thing that came out of yesterday. It was one of the most horrible performances since week 1 of this year in St. Louis against the Rams. Man, they make us look bad. Former Major League outfielder Dave Henderson has passed away, suffered a massive heart attack. Yesterday, he was 57. He was at Harborview Medical Center, according to a statement from the Mariners, best known perhaps for his home run in the 86 American League Champion Series for Boston. And he leaves behind a wife and 2 sons. A nice man, a big smile.
Oh, yeah.
Can do. Gone at the age of 57. Luke Falk threw a couple of pairs of passes for touchdowns to lead the Cougars to a win over Miami in a snowy Sun Bowl. Weird, bizarre. They call it the Sun Bowl. You go to El Paso, Texas, and it's a blizzard out there. Anyway, it was the first time that the Cougars have won a bowl game since the 2003 Holiday Bowl, going back a couple of years.
Yeah. Wow, that's a long time.
Monday Night Football, Bengals and Broncos tonight. Broncos can be a number 1 seed in the AFC. They could be less than the number 1 seed, or they might not even make the playoffs, depending on how these last 2 games go for them. Cincinnati, of course, Andy Dalton benched because of injury, and we'll see how they fare tonight on Monday Night Football. We've got it for you at 4:45 this afternoon here on the radio. Tomorrow night, back online at KMAS.com, we will bring you HD video of the Lady High Climbers hosting Hoquiam in the Mini Dome. We'll start our broadcast a little before 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, Jeff and myself. And coming up on New Year's Eve. Christmas is gone now. New Year's Eve in the afternoon at 1:40. Our coverage begins as Gonzaga takes on Santa Clara. And then on the 2nd of January in the evening, a night game against San Francisco. A couple of Northern California stops for Gonzaga. We've got them both for you coming up here this next weekend. And that is Sports Notes this time around.
Yeah, cloudy, 33. Good morning to you. Maybe see a little bit of snow tomorrow, but today is looking pretty darn good. No real chance of any kind of precipitation, and I can't imagine we're going to see a lot of snow tomorrow, if any, really, throughout the day. Other than that, though, clear skies, but cold. Highs in the upper 30s, and lows are going to be in the upper 20s. Maybe even the mid-20s as we ring in the new year, maybe 26 into Friday.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from the southernmost tide pool of Puget Sound, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It's Daybreak here at KMAS and KMAS.com. Apparitions of women and children in ragged clothing have been reported at this cemetery. Legends tell of an old underground crypt that was once on the property. Teens who used the cemetery for a hangout said when you reached the bottom of the stairs and turned around, you could see a vision of hell. That's in Maltby.
And that is where?
It's in Snohomish County, South Snohomish County, Southeast, and Southwest Snohomish County, rather. The county up there has bought a former horse farm in Maltby to turn into a future park. The Daily Herald reports the Carousel Ranch on Highway 9 been a horse farm for about 80 years, and the deal will allow a horse boarding business run by family members can stay there for about another year and a half or so as the county performs outreach and starts the designs on the park. Now, I don't think the park is anywhere near where the haunted cemetery is, but it is all right there around Maltby in Snohomish County.
All right, then. Well, way to dig deep. Unexplained mysteries being explained here by young Jefferson this morning. 28th day of December here in 2015. Significant events that happened on this date in history. 1869, the first chewing gum patent was issued. I wanted to say it was a guy named Wrigley, but it wasn't. It was William Finley Semple, a dentist from Mount Vernon, Ohio.
I wonder what his kind of...
There he is. And blowing a bubble and everything.
I don't think he has any kind of real gum with him. I mean, like Semple.
No, I don't think there's a gum named after him. And I wonder what that chewing gum tasted like, the first one.
Ugh, sawdust. Metal.
It's going to taste like rubber. You ever hear that joke? And the famous San Francisco cable cars began operating on this date in 1912.
What a San Francisco treat.
It certainly is. It is all of that. And the Congress officially recognized the Pledge of Allegiance. Hey, I know that.
I've seen you.
I know the words to that. I recognize that. 1945.
Speaking of words, I mentioned to you before the break, so Thursday morning, that I'd be recanting that 'twas the night before Christmas.
Yeah, to your nieces and the little ones.
Kaiser Ringo Bungo.
Yeah.
We were both kind of saying, well, I'm not sure how into it they're going to be.
Right.
Because they're 5, 3, and however old Kaiser is, year and a half. Well, it's long.
Yeah.
There's about 12, 18 verses of this poem.
Yeah.
And I didn't even remember half of them, reading them over. Anyways, kids are going crazy. It's Christmas Eve. Yeah. We just got done eating.
Sit down and listen to Uncle Jeff talk.
20 gazillion presents for all these kids.
They're not going to listen to you.
And so we get through, I do the first two fine. And I notice, I'm reading the crowd.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing that
you're losing them.
I'm losing them. So I jump down without really putting any major plot holes in the story. I jump down a couple paragraphs.
Sure.
Call out the reindeer's name, and then jump ahead a couple more while maintaining the same flow of the story.
Oh, certainly.
Because you don't want them to really get lost. Anywho, so I think out of the 12 or 18 paragraphs, I read 4. It was just enough.
Yes, probably plenty.
Next year I'll do 5.
Maybe.
After that I'll do 6. Because these kids will get older.
Yeah, then they get to be teenagers. They won't want to listen to it then.
They won't even be there, so it won't matter.
Yeah.
We're going to hang out with our friends.
How long are we going to stay here?
All right. So that was
places to go and things to do.
Just thought I'd add that too.
Yeah,
put a bow on last week's story.
That's a tough audience there when you got the youngsters, and unless you're making balloons or doing something interactive.
Yeah.
Them just sitting with presents just out of reach.
Just out of reach.
Yeah. Well, it was a nice gesture.
I can see it becoming a great tradition.
Sure. Jeff in the corner reading to himself out loud.
Reading to myself.
That's a great.
You done yet?
Great tradition. And then we got Jeff over there. He's reading. If you want to listen to it, you can.
He just repeats it. So sit down.
Every year. Same old thing.
First test tube baby born in Virginia. Elizabeth Carr. This is not the name that I thought of when I first heard about this.
Yeah, what was the first test tube baby?
Not baby. Maybe it was baby Elizabeth. Louise Brown. Oh, no. Louise Brown was the world's first test tube baby. She was born in England in 1978. Elizabeth Carr, the first American test tube baby.
Okay.
Either one. I don't remember those names. Oh, I'm getting confused with cute little baby Jessica. Fell down that well in Texas.
Yeah, and nothing to do with the test tube, though.
No. Although, test tubes, similar to mining pipes. Shannon Doherty arrest for DUI in 2008. I didn't realize John Stamos got arrested for DUI this past year. It's in our entertainment year in review. We'll talk about some of those are fun throughout the rest of the week. And
isn't he in a new sitcom now?
Yeah.
Grandfathered
or something.
Grandfathered, yeah, that's it. Denzel Washington's birthday today, Jeff. 61. Maggie Smith from Downton Abbey. Harry Potter movies as well. She's 81. Dame Maggie Smith, as it is, turned out. I don't know what you do to become a dame exactly, but... And from the old Adam 12 TV series, goes back a ways, and Route 66, Martin Milner. I think he was a bit of a heartthrob in his day, but he's 84 now. Still around, having his birthday. And the guy who created the real Spider-Man, the real Fantastic Four, the comic book creator, Stan Lee.
He's in every one of those Marvel movies.
93 years old today. Still.
For a new Captain America movie.
Yeah.
Civil War is the name of it. I didn't really understand. I guess I didn't pay it much. So we were wondering, There's a lot of these Marvel movies. And the X-Men, they got a new movie, X-Men movie coming out with J-Law. Anyways, we're trying to figure out the order that you're supposed to watch these stupid Marvel films in.
There is no order, is there?
There is a legitimate order. Like, you're supposed to watch the first Captain America, and then you watch some of this TV show, and then you go back and watch like Iron Man, and then you go watch this other TV show for like 3 episodes, and then you can watch this movie, and then it all syncs up proper.
It's too complicated.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Sheep will pig out when they get the chance, and they may end up with a nasty case of indigestion. Hi, I'm Jody Hankey. Sheep bloat can be serious, so you need to manage their eating behavior when you're living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
Need new ideas for what to do around your place? Register for a free Living the Country Life newsletter. Once a week, you'll receive helpful tips on key topics such as landscaping, animals and poultry, outdoor improvement projects, recreational activities, and much more. The newsletter delivers the latest trends, alerts you to informational courses, shares what other people are doing on their properties, and provides details about exciting sweepstakes and other contests. Sign up for your free newsletter today by visiting livingthecountrylife.com.
Read Living the Country Life magazine on your computer and mobile devices. Each issue features great stories, how-to help, reader tips, and recipes, as well as beautiful photos to spark new ideas for your place in the country. All the stories and features you love about Living the Country Life magazine are right at your fingertips, anywhere, any way you want them. Visit nextissue.com or zenio.com to subscribe. There's no limit to how many times you can enjoy your digital editions of Living the Country Life.
Feeding sheep can be tricky, especially when they're out on pasture. Some of them eat too much too fast, and it can be fatal if you don't catch it soon enough. Small ruminant specialist Mike Neary at Purdue University says pasture bloat happens when gas is trapped in the belly and the animals can't release it.
It usually happens when the sheep consume very nutritious, very high protein, somewhat immature legumes. And the most common legumes that cause bloat are alfalfa or a number of the varieties of clover. Those legumes, when they're in the rumen, are digested very rapidly, and there's a froth that forms on the top layer of the rumen contents, and that froth prevents the eruption of the gas.
Neary says bloat comes on fast, usually within the first 2 hours of being out on pasture. The most obvious sign is a distended stomach on the left side of the animal as you're looking at it from the rear. You will have to relieve the gas so the internal pressure doesn't cause a partial collapse of the lungs.
One thing you can do is use a stomach tube, perhaps a small diameter garden hose or something you can actually insert into the rumen through the esophagus and try to release some of the gas pressure that way. You can drench with some mineral or vegetable oils, which are anti-foaming agents and will help break that foam up. And then there's also commercially available anti-foaming agents.
Good feeding management is the key to controlling bloat. Stick to a regular grazing routine to encourage even consumption, not engorgement. Just before turning sheep out onto lush pasture, Neary suggests filling them up with long stem hay with a high grass content so they don't eat as much of the rich legumes. Learn more about controlling sheep bloat at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the Country Life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online.
Green Diamond Resource Company has been on the landscape for over 120 years here in Mason County, growing and nurturing our working forests. These forests provide the best of all worlds: clean air and water, protection for fish and wildlife, areas for hunting, fishing, and other recreation, all while growing essential wood products from lumber to paper to renewable energy. At Green Diamond, stewardship is one of our core values and our business. We're proud of our role in keeping Mason County and Washington green.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom31.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom31.com. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom31.com.
Hi, this is Dave Ramsey. Tune into my show weekdays from noon to 3 here on KMAS. But now, let's get back to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
6:52 here on a Monday morning, the last week of 2015 here. It's the 28th of December, and a good morning to you. We have Monday Night Football coming up tonight, 4:45, and it's the Bengals and the Broncos.
Under the Bees.
With Osweiler for the Broncos, and Dalton's not playing for, is he?
No.
So that's that game. Throughout the rest of the week, we got a couple Gonzaga games for you coming up. That'll be a lot of fun. And then the Seahawks back in action on Sunday. 2015, everybody starts to look over the year that was, what we saw, what we didn't see, what we gained, what we lost, and who we lost. Got many, actually, pretty big-time actors, actresses, musicians.
Yes.
Who were some of the people that passed, Dale?
We have, we say goodbye to stars whose work will live on. A few of the notables that we lost in 2015 include Leonard Nimoy.
Here's Leonard Nimoy and hard to avoid being Spock, but how did he avoid typecasting?
I haven't had as much of a problem with that as people tend to think. I have known cases, we all have known cases of actors who have never gotten to play anything other than a particular role that they were identified with.
And here he is in one of those roles that we always will identify him with.
Don't breathe. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Oh, man, that was that pivotal scene at the end when Spock and Kirk were vulcaning between the glass.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it was so sad.
That is right. Yeah, I remember that.
Star Trek II Wrath of Khan.
Age 83. Actor best known for playing Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane on the Dukes of Hazzard. James Best passed in April of this year.
He spoke a handful of languages, had about 3 degrees. I just saw a headline of him, the stuff, all that he had accomplished. And he was Roscoe P. Jenkins. You don't really necessarily consider him as like the sharpest tool in the shed.
Right, but over
he,
the years, long career.
Yeah, and I believe he had many degrees in higher education, and pretty cool stuff. Artist as well. Pretty neat.
Yeah. Long, fruitful life, James Best. Passed at 88. James Horner, a legendary film composer, maybe best known for the theme to Titanic.
You almost can hear Celine singing.
Yeah.
In your mind's eye. What a wonderful.
He died in a plane crash north of Santa Barbara. Only 61. That happened in June, this past summer. Also, the death of Christopher Lee. Lord of the Rings fans knew him as Saruman.
Yeah.
And he was Count Dooku.
You're getting there.
In the Star Wars episodes 2 and 3, which I don't believe I've seen. But he was 93.
Yeah, he is, and up until pretty recent, the front man to a death metal band.
To what?
A death metal band.
Really?
Yeah.
He was the front man for a death metal band?
Uh-huh.
Yikes.
Yeah. He was also a World War II vet. And,
what?
Gosh, he was Dracula.
Man, well, he was around a long time, so. Omar Sharif, Lawrence of Arabia, Dr. Zhivago, many magnificent movies, actor. We also lost horror film writer and director, the one who brought us Nightmare on Elm Street, Wes Craven.
What a scary dude here. Just listen to this theme, that gets you in the spirit.
I get scared just listening to this kind of music.
Yeah, Wes Craven.
Listen, that's chilling.
That is chilling. That's
goodness gracious.
That's not New Year's music.
Jackie
Halloween
Collins died of breast cancer this last September. She's an author, and she's also the sister of Joan Collins. Maureen O'Hara, maybe best known for starring in the original Miracle on 34th Street. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. She also had many roles opposite John Wayne during her career, including The Quiet Man. She was 95. She passed just here in October. Also, former U.S. Senator, presidential candidate, and an actor who appeared in TV's Law & Order for many years in the beginning, and movies and films, Days of Thunder, Hunt for Red October. Fred Thompson passed away in November. We lost Robert Loggia as well in December, just a few weeks ago. Veteran actor, was in Scarface. And
I got the voice that always sounds like this, but a big smile all the time.
Always has a big smile. 7 o'clock.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
I'm Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio. Stocks are lower. The Dow's down 54 points. The Nasdaq lower by 15. Valiant Pharmaceuticals CEO is on medical leave. Michael Pearson will be out for an undetermined amount of time as he recovers from pneumonia. Star Wars: The Force Awakens crosses the $1 billion mark in ticket sales this weekend, just 12 days after its worldwide release. This makes it the fastest movie in history to top the milestone. The Disney film also turning in the biggest Christmas Day box office of all time, with $49.3 million in sales. Santa made it on time, but FedEx didn't, the company failing to deliver all of its packages in time for Christmas. FedEx blaming unforeseen volume and severe weather. And severe weather has developed over the central portion of the country. Tornadoes, blizzards, and heavy rain resulting in the deaths of 20 people in 3 states.
Welcome back. You're listening to Meh in the Morning with C-list guests, boring callers, and that one song we keep playing. Brought to you by the same old breakfast muffin sandwich. It doesn't get more meh than this. Trust me.
Move on from meh mornings. Try the Breakfast Crunch Wrap from Taco Bell. Stuffed with scrambled eggs, bacon, and melted cheddar cheese, plus a whole crispy hash brown, wrapped up and freshly grilled in a warm tortilla. The Breakfast Crunch Wrap. It's more of a meal than a muffin. Wake up with Moss. At participating locations served during breakfast hours.
It's Macy's After Christmas Sale. Save 25% on dazzling social dresses at our biggest social event of the season. Designer underwear for him. Buy one, get one 50% off at our biggest underwear sale of the season. Plus, buy 2 bras, get 2 free from Bally, Maidenform, and more. Save 30 to 50% on bed and bath at our biggest white sale. And get designer coats for her, 50% off. Macy's After Christmas Sale. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices, exclusions apply.
Start your mornings live and local with Daybreak on KMAS Shelton. Join Jeff and Dale weekdays from 6 to 9 on AM 1030 or FM 1033.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. Wild winter weather spawned tornadoes in Texas. More than 10 twisters cut a path of destruction across the state. The Dallas area saw 2 exceptionally powerful storms. ABC's Matt Gutman is there.
In so many cases, we see tornadoes striking trailer parks, just devastating them. But we're talking about serious
homes here, even some of them $500,000 mansions made out of brick and mortar, solid homes that were simply ripped apart by this tornado. We're talking about an EF4 tornado with winds up to 200 miles per hour.
Oklahoma's governor declared a state of emergency after being blitzed by blizzard conditions in the western part of the state and inundated by 9 inches of rain and flooding in the central part. A new concern is rising for Southern California firefighters who hope to fully contain a 1,200-acre wildfire by tomorrow. They're now worried that the charred hillsides will turn into mudslides on the Highway 101 and nearby railroad tracks the next time there's a heavy rain. The Harlem Globetrotters tweeted, "We are deeply saddened by the passing of our beloved Meadowlark Lemon. The Clown Prince of basketball was a charismatic presence on the team for 25 years. During his induction into the Naismith Hall of Fame in 2005, he recalled the first time he saw the Globetrotters play.
They seemed to make that ball talk. I said, that's mine. This is for me. I was receiving a vision. I was receiving a dream in my heart."
Lemon died at his home in Arizona at 83. The first trailers have been released for the new Sesame Street, brought to you by the letters HBO. They hint at a galaxy of guest stars stopping by, including Tina Fey, Pharrell Williams, and Gwen Stefani. A few months after they air on HBO, they'll air for free on PBS. Star Wars soared above the $1 billion mark at hyperspeed in just 12 days. Record-breaking. It happened so fast, many probably didn't notice Daniel Craig's cameo in the film as a stormtrooper. Number JB007, of course. He's the one who loosened Rey's restraints, giving in to the Force. This is ABC News.
Finally, there's a lightweight cat litter that doesn't act lightweight. It's Arm & Hammer Clump and Seal Lightweight.
My name is Erin, and I'm a professional pet sitter. I deal with cat litter all day. Clump and Seal Lightweight is amazing on odor. It's super easy to carry, and there's absolutely no dust.
No other litter seals and destroys odor and is 50% lighter than our regular litter and 100% dust-free.
It changed how I feel about a lightweight litter. I would recommend it to my friends and my clients.
Get 7-day odor control and no dust in Arm & Hammer Clump and Seal Lightweight.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Call Quicken Loans now to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Another deadly police shooting is rocking Chicago. More from ABC's Alex Perez.
The families of Betty Jones and college student Quintonio LeGrier demanding justice and answers from the Chicago Police Department. Jones and LeGrier killed Saturday after police were called to this 2-story home for a domestic disturbance.
We got 2 people shot, but were the shots fired by police, just to confirm. Yes, they were.
LeGrier on the top floor was reportedly threatening his father with a bat. Loved ones say 55-year-old Jones, who lives on the ground floor, was opening the door for police when she was caught in a spray of police bullets.
Peyton Manning is brushing off as a complete fabrication a report that he took human growth hormone to recover from a neck injury. The Broncos quarterback says he never has and never would do such a thing. The man making the accusations turned out to be an unpaid intern at the medical center where he was treated, who wasn't even working there when Manning was there. He has since recanted his claim. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. A group called the Waste Action Project, part of the Northwest Toxic Communities Coalition, is suing the city of Shelton for taking too long in cleaning up the dump, also known as the Shelton landfill. Local citizen and member of the Waste Action Project, Will Durham, says the group wants to make sure the city of Shelton fulfills its obligation to clean the dump and protect the citizens and their children from further exposure to toxins from the landfill. You can read the full press release about the lawsuit on our website at KMAS.com. The former Olympia Brewery property in Tumwater has been sold for $4 million. The buyer, Tumwater Development LLC of Anaheim, California, registered as a corporation in Washington on December 14th. The vacant property has attracted potential buyers over the years, but no deal came to fruition. A public auction was held in October, and 3 of its 4 parcels received bids that were well below market value. Thurston County Treasurer Sean Myers says all the parcels have now sold at close to their assessed value. Further information about what the buyer plans to do with the property has not yet been made available. When businesses want to come into Shelton, the city and the fire department interact quite a bit to get things up to code. Shelton Community and Economic Development Director Steve Goines and Assistant Fire Chief from Central Mason Fire and EMS Mike Patty told Daybreak more.
Someone wants to come into an old building that maybe has been something else. Mel Chevrolet comes to mind. It was a car dealership, and we want to change the use into a different use. That has a lot of code ramifications that we need to coordinate. What are the exiting requirements? What are the fire protection requirements for this type of use in a building?
We meet, if not more often, at least weekly, between the fire, building, planning, engineering. We all meet together at least once a week to talk about things that are coming up. Sometimes we're hearing rumors afloat because a lot of us are out in the community, so we'll come together there and talk about what ifs. Hypotheticals. So yeah, the fire department and the city, we work surprisingly close together and have a great relationship.
See the full interview on the Daybreak page at KMAS. Officials have decided why drought declaration expire at the end of this year. The team that advises Governor Jay Inslee on the issue recommended that the State Department of Ecology not extend the drought declaration at this time. Another drought declaration could be considered next year if water supply conditions change. Ecology says the heavy rain and snow have eliminated the drought in western Washington, and drought conditions are improving in eastern Washington. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
Hi, this is Alex Jones on KMAS News Radio. First, they disarm the people, then they disarm the police, the state police, the local police, except for special paramilitary special event police that are the New Praetorian Guard. And then they serve under the UN. That's why Austin Police, DC Police, New York Police are all in these international exchange programs. Sound reasonable on the surface, but they're all being unified into one global standardized command.
We have some extreme temperatures in our part of the country. I want to tell you about a local company, Arch Mechanical. ARCH, Arch. It's an acronym for Affordable Refrigeration, Cooling, and Heating. But that's not what's important. What's important is how Tom, the problem solver, is able to help solve your heating, cooling, and refrigeration equipment or system problems. Check out archmechanical.com and find out more. archmechanical.com.
NFL playoff spots secured, others still available, and the clown prince of basketball is gone. Hi, everybody. Todd Ant reporting on sports. The Vikings emphatically clinched a playoff berth on Sunday night and moved into a tie with Green Bay for first place in the NFC North.
And Jerick McKinnon is loose inside the 10. Touchdown!
On KFAN, Minnesota ripped the Giants 49-17. The Jets climbed ahead of Pittsburgh for the final AFC wildcard berth thanks to a gamble by Coach Bill Belichick, who elected to kick in overtime. Ryan Fitzpatrick did the rest.
Lobs it back right corner. Decker! He's got it! Touchdown! And the Jets have won it in overtime!
On ESPN New York, Jets 26-20 over New England. The Panthers' undefeated season is over after losing 20-13 at Atlanta. Quarterback Cam Newton was candid.
We got our kick today. We can take some from it and use it for our next game against Tampa.
Carolina can still clinch home field advantage next week. More from Week 16 in the NFL. The Cardinals sacked Aaron Rodgers 8 times on their way to a first-round bye.
Snap to Rodgers, backs up, gets hit, fumbles the ball again. It's loose. It's picked up by the Cardinals, and it's Gerard Powers, and he's going to score. Freeney with the sack, and the Cardinals lead 37-8.
On KTAR, Arizona slams the Packers 38-8. So with Carolina's loss, Arizona can clinch the #1 seed with a win over Seattle next week. The Chiefs clinched a playoff spot with their 9th straight win, 17-13 over the Browns.
Shotgun snap back to Alex Smith. Fires for Kelsey. He makes a long catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City.
On 101, the Fox, the Steelers were stunned 20-17 in Baltimore. They dropped out of a playoff spot now to 7th place. He was called the clown prince of basketball. Meadowlark Lemon, who played with the Harlem Globetrotters for 4 decades, has died. His wife told the New York Times he was 83. Dave Henderson, an outfielder with 5 Major League Baseball teams, died Sunday. He was 57. And Jim O'Toole, a star pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds in the 60s, died. He was 78. Todd Ant, ABC Sports.
For News Radio 1030 KMAS Shelton, FM 1033, and video and audio this morning on KMAS.com. A good Monday to you. I'm Dale Hubbard. Rams and the 5-game winning streak for Seattle, 23-17. At CenturyLink yesterday, Seattle failed to lead for the first time with Russell Wilson under center since he became the starter in Week 1 of the 2012 season, and the Seahawks streak of having 100 yards rushing as a team ended at 25 games. Seattle lost at home for the third time this season. Things not looking good for Seattle heading to Arizona for their final game before the playoffs. And as you heard, former Major League outfielder Dave Henderson has died after suffering a massive heart attack. He was at Harborview Medical Center. This according to a statement from the Mariners. Henderson best known perhaps for his home run in the 1986 American League Championship Series for the Boston Red Sox. He spent nearly 10 years, though, involved with the Seattle Mariners as a player and a broadcaster and as a goodwill ambassador for the team here later in his life. He is survived by 2 sons and his wife. And Luke Falk, 2 touchdown passes. Cougars, 2014 win over Miami Saturday in a Snow Bowl. Was called the Sun Bowl, but should have been called the Snow Bowl. Snow flying all over the place there. Eric Powell added field goals of 30 and 25 yards, and the Cougars win a bowl game for the first time since 2003's Holiday Bowl. So congratulations to the Cougs, who finished the season with 9 wins and 4 losses. A good positive year under Coach Leach, and surely something to build on and look forward to for next season. We have Monday Night Football tonight, the Cincinnati Bengals and Denver Broncos, whose season is really on a roller coaster ride right now. They started out undefeated for many weeks in a row. Peyton Manning got that injury in his arch of his foot, and he had to take a seat. Osweiler came in, got 3 or 4 games in a row that he won, then got wiped out a couple of weeks in a row, and there was wringing their hands and what's going to happen. And now, with the 9-game winning streak by Kansas City, the Broncos might not even make the playoffs.
Wow.
So this is a very important game for them tonight, and we'll start our coverage at 4:45 this afternoon. Tomorrow night on KMAS.com, high school basketball action for you on HD video. Shelton Lady High Climbers hosting the Lady Grizzlies of Hoquiam, and we'll begin our coverage just before 7 tomorrow night. We being him and I, Jeff and Dale. And I?
Well, the thing they say is if you take me out of it,
yeah,
does it sound right? Join I for the broadcast. No. Join me for the broadcast. So Jeff and me.
Okay.
That's how I was always taught. You take the other person out, and if that still makes sense.
Okay. All right. So Jeff and me.
I don't know if that's right or not. That sounds right. All right. Today, foggy skies and 40. No real precipitation today. We may see a little bit throughout the day tomorrow, and it'll be cold. So we may see a little bit of snow here and there. And we have, over the last couple days, seen a little bit of snow hither and yon. 33 right now, 39 the high. Starting on Wednesday, though, clear skies into the weekend.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from the artesian waters of South Puget Sound, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
Good morning to you. Daybreak here at 7:15 on a Monday. Brian LaFlame and Lynn Longan scheduled to be here in our next hour. Daybreak here with Jeff and Dale currently after a nice long weekend. Hope you had a good time and some opportunities to relax a little bit and enjoy the holidays that were, however you decided to celebrate it. Saturday, we should have gotten up early Saturday morning, head to the store for some 50% off light sales, because when we got there at about 4 in the afternoon,
too late.
There was nothing left over. I don't know.
Well, you know better. You knew you should have probably went early. You could have. You probably were up early Saturday morning.
I was up at 5:40.
Did you have your lights down by 6?
No. Although I will say, Kaiser, see, it was nice on Saturday.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't rain?
I don't think so.
So, but it rained yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works. So we took down our indoor decorations Saturday while Kaiser was napping. Stephanie got a wild hair, and the tree came down quick, and the lights outside are still up. And she says, you can take them down because it's going to start raining and whatever. Looking at the forecast.
Yeah, you're good till next year.
Good till the weekend. So you've got this upcoming weekend to let your lights come down. So another couple days, I suppose.
Do as the Slakeys and wait.
Just wait.
A hiker from Washington State killed after falling 100 feet at Red Rock Canyon. This is in Las Vegas. Clark County coroner identified the hiker as 25-year-old Brian Tracy of Spokane. Authorities say that he was climbing inside Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area with some other hikers, and he inexplicably just fell about 100 feet, as we'd mentioned, and it was a fatal fall.
DOT says a third northbound lane of I-5 near Woodland will be open by the end of January. Only 2 lanes of the freeway have been opened to the area north of the Washington-Oregon border since a landslide back on the 9th. So the end of January, adding that third lane, I bet that traffic has just got to be a mess.
Yeah, anytime you take a lane away from such a busy area between Vancouver and Portland,
yeah,
it's always busy there.
Well, you remember in 2007 when that all went all the water?
Yeah.
And they shut down I-5 at Centralia?
Right.
What a mess that was.
I know. I was worried about that was going to be the case here about a month ago when we had all the flooding around near Thanksgiving. That was pretty bad, and I thought for sure that we were going to experience that same where virtually Lewis County is underwater.
Yeah.
It seems like, except for the mountains. So hasn't been that bad yet, but you know what? This is only December still. Still have a couple of weeks of winter weather since it only officially arrived on the 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
We got still some weather ahead of us, I think. I'm thinking. This is a bizarre accident. A 7-year-old little boy suffered a leg injury. Now, he was in a car that was struck by a train. BNSF Railway spokesperson Gus Malone said the boy was one of 8 people that were in the vehicle. It got stuck on a stretch of track near Cleellum. They couldn't get the car off the tracks, or they didn't have time to evacuate the car before the train came on them. Miraculously, no one else was injured. 8 people in the car. And the leg injury is not like life-threatening or anything. It's certainly a tough blow for a little 7-year-old, but what could have been is amazing that nothing more happened than that. Be interested to know how fast the train was going and how much time they had to try to get out of the car.
Yeah.
It was just a bizarre accident.
In Cleellum, I can't imagine there's many metered intersections.
Yeah.
Those things come out of nowhere, and those trains at that point in their travels,
probably
they're zipping.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Not much there to slow down for.
No. 12 days. That's the length it took Star Wars to cross the $1 billion mark.
Thanks to Jeff and Steph yesterday morning.
No help by us.
$1 billion mark.
Just made it. Woo. Thank you. You too. Boy, it was a packed theater.
Isn't that weird?
10:45 in the morning.
Popcorn flying.
Popcorn. Everybody was in pretty good. There was some clapping when the mainstays came out. And then, some things happened and people cheered.
Huh? Our audience was not nearly as engaged.
No?
No.
I mean, it was a smattering of cheers. It was like 5 people and the whole thing go. Like when you would see some character from the original trilogy.
Well, it was kind of cute, your story this morning earlier about the 12-year-old or the young boy that was near you.
Reading it out loud. I was, I can only imagine the people around us were like, is this kid going to be doing this the whole time? But of course he wasn't. He was just reading the script is epic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I was enjoying listening to him. And he was kind of struggling with some of the words, too. So that was cool, too, that he was working on it.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom31.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 31.com. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom31.com.
Hi, this is Terry Allen with a look at the community calendar on KMAS. Nonprofits post your events on KMAS.com. The Mason County Senior Center is hosting a tour of the USS Turner Joy and the Puget Sound Naval Museum in Bremerton. $17 for members, $22 for non-members. It's Friday, January 8th. Contact the Senior Center for details. For KMAS News Radio, I'm Terry Allen.
Good morning, this is Under Sheriff Jim Barrett, and you're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS.
All right, thank you, Under Sheriff Barrett. We wish you and yours a wonderful new year in the next couple of days. It's Thursday night. We'll be ringing in the new year. Plenty of bowl games. The Cougs were successful on a game heard here on KMAS Saturday morning. Taking on Miami in the Sun Bowl.
Miami.
Down in sunny, beautiful El Paso.
Oh, man.
Now, was it raining the whole time and then snow came later, or was it dry in the beginning?
You know, that's so bizarre down there. So they said the day started out with sunshine. And then it started to cloud up, and then there was a big blizzard right before the game. Then it kind of stopped. They thought that they had a window there for the game to get the game in. But snowflakes started filtering down there in the first quarter, and at certain periods of time during the game, it was really snowing, big snowflakes, and it was sticking to the ground. And they showed archival film from 4 years prior, when, as it turned out, coincidentally enough, Miami was there their last time at El Paso.
Yeah.
And they had to have snowplows before the game to find the field and to get the striping right and all that jazz. So it wasn't as bad as 4 years ago, but it was still bizarre. And here's something else I didn't know about the Sun Bowl. It's, you call the Rose Bowl the granddaddy of them all, and it's like 107th Rose Bowl. 93 Sun Bowls. One of the oldest bowls and traditional bowl games of them all.
Yeah.
And you've got the Orange Bowl and the Sugar Bowl and all those that were around back when I was a kid. I don't remember the Sun Bowl, but it was there. And I will never forget the Sun Bowl now, because Cougars
sure was not
were winners.
And they were big winners. That's got to be encouraging to Mike Leach and the whole team that was up there working hard. This
very
is
good
his,
for the
what,
program.
second year? Just his second year, and
yeah, so they're
doing pretty good for
doing
themselves.
really good. Yeah, and so a big win for the Cougs, who end up 9-4 on the season. No, not a bad year at all. Not a bad year at all. We are checking significant historical events that have happened over the course of the year. The passing of stars and people, and we'll talk a little bit about the breakups and the makeups and the hookups and hiccups. And of course, this year of 2015 will be the year of the gender bending, I guess would be a way of putting it.
We all became a little more familiar or aware of some different terms moving into the new year.
Names, Caitlin?
New names.
So, yeah. So some significant events, to be sure. And your iPhone didn't it take this last year, wasn't this latest one a new product from Apple that came out? Well, the watch, I guess.
The watch is kind of the big thing.
Was the big thing of the year. Last year at this time, there was a big buzz about that.
Oh, yeah, I got to get the new watch. Everybody got to get the watch.
You didn't get one?
No. I don't wear
watch.
If I can help it, I would not.
But now everybody's got these watches on. They do everything.
They do.
You can talk on the phone on them and everything.
They're pretty spectacular. I'm not going to deny that there's not some merit, but I have been much happier watch less. I mean, what do you need a watch? Your phone has a watch.
True.
It's called a clock. That's what I'm saying. 7:25 here at KMAS, KMAS.com. So we talked about old Star Wars getting another $135 million and breaking the bill mark. Not to be outdone, though. With $38.8 million, Daddy's Home. You seen the previews for this? Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell. So
yes,
Mark's the real dad,
and one's a stepdad.
Yeah,
and they're battling it out for the kids' affection.
Yeah.
I saw the trailer, saw the slam dunk basketball point blank shot right in the cheerleader's face. That was hilarious. I guess when they filmed it, they did that in an actual game.
Yeah.
Somewhere, and Will Ferrell had the crowd just in stitches.
Yeah, I think I was at a New Orleans Pelicans game, if I remember correctly.
I think if memory serves. Pelicans.
So number 2 was Daddy's Home, Joy, which is supposed to be a great movie. Joy is about Joy Manganiello created the Miracle Mop and then went on QVC and stuff.
The Miracle Mop. Is that what her... You just spoiled the movie for everybody.
Well,
no,
spoiler alert, she becomes successful. QVC is still around.
Yeah.
De Niro and Cooper, David O. Russell, again with Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence. Pretty cool stuff.
Yes.
Joy is Third Sisters with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
Yeah, they're a hot comedy pair now, and
they're a hot mess in the movie, aren't they?
Yes.
Isn't that the thing? They kind of look like I'm not really sure the storyline of that one, except for the fact they're sisters.
They're sisters, and they're trying to make
craziness ensues.
Make it in this wild, wacky world.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip, 12.7. Concussion, Big Short, Point Break, Hunger Games, and Hateful Eight, just at 4.5. I don't know if that's
I don't think
disappointing.
Well, I don't think they're out nationwide with Hateful Eight yet.
Oh, okay. It's a limited release.
Yeah. It's supposed to not even come out till January 7th or something.
Oh. So some people got it.
Some people saw it, and it looks intriguing enough for me to take a flyer on all those veteran actors that are in there.
If you remember, Dale, last week I told you a story about a pirated screener of the Hateful Eight that made its way onto the dark web.
Right.
The deep web, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Titles of 2015 most pirated films may not be as surprising as the number of times they were pirated. Variety reporting that Furious 7 and a couple others topped the list, according to a piracy tracking firm which monitors activity from the beginning of the year through December 25th. Interstellar factored in to be the most downloaded film of 2015, coming in at 46.7 million downloads.
So when they pirate a movie, what's that mean now in this day and age?
All right, so basically what you can do is you'll take a physical copy of something, anything really, a DVD or a CD or whatever, and you rip it into your computer. Remember when everybody was ripping their CDs onto their computers so they could have it on their computers and make mixtapes or whatever?
Right.
Well, then what people do is they take those files, upload them to server sites or torrent sites where people can then pick and get them. So I put up Daybreak from today as a torrent site, and then people from all over the world can access that, and that's kind of how it works.
Okay.
But you can do it with no, it's free.
It's a lot of money they're losing.
Piracy, I mean, it is an illegal thing. The FBI, yada yada. We've all seen those.
It continues unabated worldwide.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. A group called the Waste Action Project, part of the Northwest Toxic Communities Coalition, is suing the city of Shelton for taking too long in cleaning up the dump, also known as the Shelton landfill. Local citizen and member of the Waste Action Project, Will Durham, says the group wants to make sure the city of Shelton fulfills its obligation to clean the dump and protect the citizens and their children from further exposure to toxins from the landfill. You can read the full press release about the lawsuit on our website at KMAS.com. The former Olympia Brewery property in Tumwater has been sold for $4 million. The buyer, Tumwater Development LLC of Anaheim, California, registered as a corporation in Washington on December 14th. The vacant property has attracted potential buyers over the years, but no deal came to fruition. A public auction was held in October, and 3 of its 4 parcels received bids that were well below market value. Thurston County Treasurer Sean Myers says all the parcels have now sold at close to their assessed value. Further information about what the buyer plans to do with the property has not yet been made available. When businesses want to come into Shelton, the city and the fire department interact quite a bit to get things up to code. Shelton Community and Economic Development Director Steve Goines and Assistant Fire Chief from Central Mason Fire and EMS Mike Patty told Daybreak more.
Someone wants to come into an old building that maybe has been something else. Mel Chevrolet comes to mind. It was a car dealership, and we want to change the use into a different use. That has a lot of code ramifications that we need to coordinate. What are the exiting requirements? What are the fire protection requirements for this type of use in a building?
We meet, if not more often, at least weekly, between the fire, building, planning, engineering. We all meet together at least once a week to talk about things that are coming up. Sometimes we're hearing rumors afloat because a lot of us are out in the community, so we'll come together there and talk about what ifs. Hypotheticals. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the fire department and the city, we work surprisingly close together and have a great relationship.
See the full interview on the Daybreak page at KMAS.com. Washington state officials have decided to let the statewide drought declaration expire at the end of this year. The team that advises Governor Jay Inslee on the issue recommended that the State Department of Ecology not extend the drought declaration at this time. Another drought declaration could be considered next year if water supply conditions change. Ecology says the heavy rain and snow have eliminated the drought in western Washington, and drought conditions are improving in eastern Washington. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
Ascend Roofing Company in Shelton's on top of it. 868-2730. Roofing work that speaks for itself.
Just a note to express our appreciation for restoring our faith in a handshake. You did what you said you would, and that's all anyone can expect.
We truly appreciate the work that was done. And your son Ryan is a wonderful representative of your company. Thank you again for making the gutters clean and our roof moss resistant.
You could be the next happy customer by calling Ascend Roofing. 868-2730.
Tune in all season long to NFL Insider on Westwood One. Hi, this is Mark Malone. Join me each week as we whip around the league and break down the NFL. We'll hear from today's stars and yesterday's heroes as James Lofton sits down with a fellow member of the Hall of Fame. We'll also check in with former greats Rod Woodson and Donovan McNabb to help us break down all the latest NFL news. That's NFL Insider right here.
Sunday morning at 6:30 on KMAS.
For News Radio 1030 KMAS Shelton, FM 103.3 at KMAS.com, video and audio here on this Monday, the 28th of December. Carolina Panthers won't finish the season unbeaten. They lost for their first game of the season yesterday in Atlanta, DQ's team.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And Quinn. As the Falcons won 20-13. The loss, the first of 19 regular season games going back to last season for the Panthers, and leaves the Cam Newton-led team at 14-1. this season. NFL game tonight has the Bengals playing the Broncos in Denver. Record-wise, Denver 10-4, Bengals 11-3. Cincinnati's wrapped up the AFC North Championship. Meanwhile, over in the AFC West, it's a little crazy there. The Kansas City Chiefs started the season out at 1-5, Jeff. They started out the season, 1-5. They've won 9 in a row.
Wow.
They're 10-5 now.
Pretty good.
Pretty amazing. So they are pushing Denver, who's been on a little bit of a bumpy road. They're 10-4, as mentioned. And should they lose tonight, they'll be virtually tied with Kansas City. And I think they play Kansas City next week for the finale of the season. Denver could get eliminated from playoffs. It's just hard to imagine when they started out so good this season.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on that game tonight. We've got it for you at 4:45, the pregame, with the kickoff set for 5 o'clock our time. It should be a pretty good game tonight on the radio. Meanwhile, online on KMAS.com tomorrow night, about 20 before 7, we'll get on the air on the web with an HD video cast of Lady High Climber basketball for you tomorrow night against Hoquiam. And looking ahead now on New Year's Eve, Thursday afternoon, actually, Gonzaga, Santa Clara at 1:40. And then on Saturday night, the 2nd, Gonzaga and San Francisco play. Both WCC contests for the Bulldogs. And the final game of the season for the Seahawks against Arizona this next Sunday will begin our pregame at 11, kickoff set for 1, as Seattle's 5-game win streak comes to a screeching halt yesterday at CenturyLink. 23-17, the final to the St. Louis Rams. And that's all I have to say about that. I did watch Forrest Gump this long weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, hadn't sat and watched it for a while, so I did.
What's the team that he plays for there? Do you remember? I think it was a famous...
Well, the guy was made to look like Bear Bryant,
right?
But it wasn't Alabama. And I think they must have gotten some copyright problems because the guy had the checkerboard hat like Bear Bryant wore.
Everybody was all in red.
Right, but they didn't quite go that far. I don't know why. They got him sitting there with presidents and all these film clips and all that other stuff. But anyway, it was good to watch the movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah,
I've never seen that in the theater.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump. What a soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, great soundtrack.
33 right now, and a good morning to you. Monday here at KMAS. No real precipitation today, and if we see any tomorrow, it could come down in the form of snow. I've been saying that for a week, whatever. Tomorrow will be in the mid to upper 30s. Those will be the highs, and the mid 20s throughout the rest of the week. 33 right now. Good morning to you.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from where I-5 takes a sharp left toward Portland, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It is Daybreak here, KMAS, KMAS.com. 7:39. How you doing over there? What are you checking out? Anything good?
I'm doing all right. We're having our holiday giveaway. If you want to call, 462-1041, 360-462-1041. I'll give you a $10 food certificate to LC3. If you have roof work that needs to be done, you may have detected a leak here during these rainstorms that we've been having and snowstorms and things. Ascend Roofing has been benevolent and given us a $60 gift certificate toward roof repair. And we have one of those left this morning, 360-462-1041. Just a couple of the many gifts that we have to give away here this final week of 2015. What?
I know, right? Just has gone by so fast.
Really
I love
has.
it.
Really has.
Moving into the new year. Exciting things. Weather looks good.
So, the Miss Universe gaffe Who's the host?
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey. So he's taking it in good stride, and he wished everybody a happy Easter on Christmas Day, because everybody's been talking about the gas.
That's funny.
So, yeah.
Hi, KMAS. Called into the station. You're talking to Jeff and Dale. Who's this?
Gloria Christ.
Hi, Gloria. How you doing?
Okay, right now. I'm on my way to Kansas to get infused.
How's your road condition work going?
Well, I see a little bit of improvement. People tend to look back and forth, but it's still congested in there. You know, we have the hot rodders that come through.
Yeah, so
but y'all do a great job by talking and telling them.
So for those who are just new to the Daybreak program, Gloria lives so if you're going to be heading to the Little Creek Casino and to their new satellite gas station on the
east side of
the road
of 101.
101.
Yeah.
You see the signs to go in, and you have to go at kind of a roundabout sort of
What's
way.
the name of your road, Gloria?
Simmons
Road. That's right.
So right there between the gas station, and then they have an espresso stand. And it basically it looks like it's one large kind of lot,
parking lot,
but there is a road that goes down to, what did you say last time, 5-7 families or so down there?
Yes. There's 5 families that live down that road.
And so the problem is that people get the gas and they're out. They don't look to the right where a car could be coming in.
Or to the left, or somebody coming from the highway coming in. Yeah.
And if someone's using Simmons Road, they're not going to go through the gas station to get to where they're going to take Simmons Road. And that's where we're seeing these problems.
Yeah. So be careful out there. Can we get you a little something for the holidays or during our giveaway?
Sure, for the giveaway.
Okay. You want you and Mr. K, would you guys like to have a $10 gift certificate for some food up at the LC3?
Sure.
All right, you're on board, Gloria.
Well, thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. You have a wonderful new year, and keep getting that treatment and keep getting better.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, hon.
Gloria.
Thanks for calling this morning.
Okay.
742 here at KMAS, KMAS.com, 462-1041. Yeah, that's a big concern for the families that live there on that Simmons Road. And really for the people that use that gas station, it's the one I use, but at 4 in the morning when I'm getting gas, or 4:30, whatever, there's not much traffic. So you don't see a lot of the cars, but I can see how it's easy for anyone who's done getting gas just to and you're back on, and cars are moving. That's an active road.
Oh, yeah.
It's a legit
it's busy.
road.
It is busy there, and you can see how there's some, like you say, I agree with you. It looks like the extended part of the whole complex there for the gas station.
So
and that particular espresso stand restaurant thing is closed. They're not even open for business. So when that was open, there was even more confusion and even more traffic problems. And I suspect that it may open again someday in the future, and something to keep in mind. And I know that there's been officials that have been notified about that. And then, of course, it's the age-old story of funding.
Right.
So they've talked about that connection, that Simmons Road, being opened up. And if, in fact, they don't allow any cross-traffic at Taylortown, that would be the ulterior route to continue on your move southward. In other words, you can't get back on 101 there and turn left from Taylortown. You'd have to go down Simmons Road and get on the road where the exit is there. That was the plan, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And the state was going to do that, but I think they ran out of funding.
Yeah.
And so and then there was a little bit of a pushback from the merchants in Taylortown, because they go, well, that kind of kills our traffic a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some concern about Simmons Road being activated as a real road as well. So it continues, and there's probably no perfect solution to the whole thing, but hopefully some of this will get straightened out as time moves on. We mentioned the gaffe. Miss Columbia, excuse me, Miss Philippines had actually won the Miss Universe contest, and Columbia was the first runner-up. Steve Harvey, the host, inadvertently said Columbia had won when he was supposed to say first runner-up, Columbia. And then by virtue of elimination, you know who the winner is, which they do that in all those kinds of things. So anyway, they have bonded now. Miss Philippines and Miss Colombia have become best friends.
Oh, I bet.
Now because of the gaffe, and they'll all be forever linked now in this thing. Last year's winner was from Colombia too. That added to the confusion.
Oh, I see.
And as I said, Steve Harvey, he took it all in pretty good stead. He was wishing everybody happy Easter over the weekend.
That's funny. Good for him.
And he had a big smile on his face. So. And he was asked back. He gets to host again next year, which I was surprised. So the pageant itself weighed in on with its own apology on Twitter, and they said that they would welcome Harvey back as host. So
I heard that the Canadian Miss Canada, she got in trouble with her costume.
Really?
It was a totem pole, and it was like kind of between the legs, kind of hang. I'll try to come up with an explanation after the break.
With Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Christmas is a time for enjoying friends and family, for spreading cheer and goodwill. For LC3, it's also a time to send warmest wishes to the special people who they number among their friends and customers. Best wishes from LC3.
Greetings of the season from the folks at the Economic Development Council of Mason County. They wish you the joys of Christmas and prosperity throughout the new year. Again,
best wishes and happy holidays from the EDC.
This is the sound of crispy bacon. This is the sound of pepper bacon. And this is the sound of Canadian bacon. And this is the sound of Papa Murphy's Bacon, Bacon, Bacon Pizza. You know what you don't hear? Large Papa Murphy, topped with crispy pepper and Canadian bacon. Just $12. Try it as a fresh pan for just $1 more. Fresh made, fresh baked, fresh craving. Papa Murphy's. Love at 425 degrees.
Hi, this is Tom Hartman, host of the Tom Hartman program on News Radio 1030 KMAS. And you're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
Good morning to you. Daybreak here, 7:48 on a Monday morning. I'm still talking about these 13 steps to hell in Maltby, Washington. I love this story. So Maltby is in Snohomish County, southwest Snohomish County. They're taking an 80-acre horse farm, and they're going to make it into a park. But another story of Maltby is that they have a supposed haunted cemetery there, and they've got the
12 gates of hell there.
Well, what they have is some cemetery.
Wait. You got to before you start your story here. You have to finish with the lady at the pageant had between her legs.
Right.
What?
Canada. Let me see. So basically, I don't even know how to explain it. So it was like, let's essentially say that. Okay, you were watching football yesterday.
Now, her costume is supposed to represent her country.
Right.
Okay.
So if you're watching football yesterday, you see the quarterbacks, right? And between their legs, they have the towel.
Yeah.
The towel that hangs between their legs?
Sure.
So essentially what Miss Canada did was she had a full-length totem pole, fabric from the ground up to her waistline. And people were saying that's not appropriate. Because it was like covering, it's her bikini area.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find a picture of it for you.
Well, maybe she was just happy.
I'm not really sure. I mean, and they have had some pretty amazing costumes in years past, celebrating their hockey.
And I've seen, but I think some of those contestants have these hats that are like 7 feet tall that they wear on their heads and stuff.
These are all not the right years. I'm looking for 2015.
I haven't got those loaded up yet.
No.
Next, the internet's not quite as fast as we thought it was.
There we go.
Okay.
So what we're looking.
I see. All right. So the totem pole is like a waist to floor loincloth.
Okay, there you go. And the top of the totem pole, the Thunderbird is the top of her head. And she is decked out in black feathers on her arms and her back and things like that. So they're just saying that it might not have been the best placement of the time-honored tradition of a totem pole. That's kind of Miss Canada.
Okay.
In trouble.
She's pretty. She's a pretty lady.
So that's what's going on there.
Okay. All right.
I really like the year before's outfit, though. It was very hockey-ish. Okay, back to Maltby.
Okay.
So they used to have this cemetery, apparently, in Maltby. Had 35 or so grave sites. People says all sorts of weird things. People seen women, children dressed in old raggedy-looking clothes, wandering aimlessly around the grave sites. Anywho, there's this other part of it that they think was part of a crypt or something. It's got 13, like Friday the 13th, 13 steps down. And I've been reading a couple of accounts, and the theory, the working legend is that you go down the stairs and then you turn around and look back, and you don't see the walls that you would assume you would see. You see a vision of hell. You see hell. And here's a story that I was reading about a lady that went up there back in back in 88. They went over there. Posted in 2009. So this person was 6 feet tall. They said that they made it down the steps, and as they got down and more foreboding, they turned around to leave. They felt a pressing on their shoulders that they couldn't leave, and they're screaming, and then the person realizes it's themselves screaming, and nobody can even see this like they went down the steps and disappeared. The Maltby, if you like haunted
Are you on your way?
I think I may, not in the winter. It's freezing. But once we get more summery, why not?
No, why not? Indeed.
Scary
Scar yourself
stuff
for life. I don't care.
There's a lot of unexplained mysteries around Washington. There's a lot of old towns in Washington that aren't here anymore, but you can find little bits and pieces. Pretty funny stuff.
You needed a little bit of that music from Friday the 13th.
I know.
Right there.
Here's a tweet.
Wes Craven music.
Tweet for you from over the weekend. I'd like to apologize to the lady I just called by mistake saying, hello, is this planet Earth? Well, that's not a prank phone call, just a wrong phone number by astronaut Tim Peake. He called some lady.
Oh, no.
He misdialed.
Meant to call home?
I don't know who he was calling. Oh, yeah, he was trying to phone up his parents to wish him a Merry Christmas. Ended up, he's on the ISS. He's on the International Space Station. Hello? Is this Earth? Wouldn't that be?
Click.
Imagine that call.
No, this is Mars.
I mean, I don't know if he was expecting his mom to answer.
Snap back one like that, or would you like, what?
Depends on what time the call came in.
Yeah. It's a good point.
I mean, what time zone is the ISS in?
There were no fewer. There were no fewer than I think 3, maybe 4 concussion-like symptoms. Players leaving the game yesterday between St. Louis and Seattle.
Do you think it was up more because of the movie?
Well, I don't know if the movie had. There was some very vicious hits. The one in particular that stands out in my mind, where St. Louis lost 2 of their defensive stars. They were coming in at 2 different directions, and they had mayhem on their minds for young Russell Wilson. And he ducked. And they hit each other. And they knocked each other out of the game. One guy literally got knocked cold, I think. And but that was one incident. I think there was like 3 or 4 incidences. It looked like the movie Concussion come to life out there on the field yesterday. There was some really vicious hits and targeting calls and some things like that. It got a little nasty, and St. Louis plays out on the edge. They always do, and they play edgier always against Seattle. The movie Concussion does examine the devastating effects of head traumas on the brains of professional football players. And so, players are invited to see the movie before the national release of the movie coming out. And Sony made the arrangements for private screenings in each of the team's cities in advance of its opening yesterday, or Christmas Day. And I don't know, it doesn't say in the story how many players took advantage of the opportunity. We had this discussion last Wednesday, last morning that we were together, Thursday, about how, these guys at some level know that there's danger attached to what they do, and they're young, and they kind of shrugged their shoulder about it, in a sense. Not all of them, certainly. I don't want to bunch everybody together on this, but the mentality is, yeah, it's dangerous, but they've taken as many, precautions as possible. They've got the best equipment that money can buy. They've, all this technology, and that's the breaks of the game, which is all fine and well when you're 23 years old, but not so special when you're 53 and you can't remember anything, and you're going through personality changes and those sorts of things. And so this is going to be I think a polarizing effect on the sport of football as this comes to light here. The release was Christmas Day, and I think more parents and people who are out of the game of football will be taking a real close look at this and making decisions about their children and what kind of participation they want them to be in. Kids can't make up those decisions, and parents can, and parents are going to be freaked out about this.
Oh, sure. I wonder, in the same style of vein, if Matt Megatoad Stoney or Joey Chestnut, winners of the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest, I wonder if they would watch a movie about how hot dogs are made. I mean, I sure wouldn't.
Or a movie about what overeating can do to your system.
Yeah. Or like if I watched a true movie on the effects of soda.
Right.
Like
or have you seen
how they made it?
Put a penny in a bottle of Coke.
Yeah, or any videos where they put stuff and watch stuff get dissolved. I'd rather not be a part of it. Hi, Carol. You look so nervous. Are you cold or are you nervous? You have 20 seconds if you want someone to come in and say something real fast. All right, she's got something good for us over the holiday.
I can tell she's smiling.
She must be happy that the Cougs won.
She's happy about something. Maybe we better not even ask.
7:57 on this Monday morning. Short week again. We got New Year's Eve coming up.
Yeah.
Where's the best place you've spent a New Year's Eve?
Wow, I don't know. Maybe on the beach at Cabo San Lucas. Under a starry night. I think that's the one that jumps out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I have a quick memory of being in Vancouver or Victoria, one of those two.
Yeah.
On a New Year's Eve. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting close to it.
Oh, man.
2016, just a few days away.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. How did turkey and ham get to be the official meats of the holidays? We investigate on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom27.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom27.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom27.com. Go to freedom27.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom27.com.
With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Monday, December 28th. It is the 362nd day of the year, and Denzel Washington has a birthday. You might have wondered, as we have, why some foods like turkey and ham are standard holiday fare. Before the modern era, there were certainly practical reasons. Turkeys were tastiest in the fall as their hormones shifted in the cooling weather and they fattened up. Meat preservation was easier in the winter, so hogs were commonly butchered in the fall. After curing for several months, hams were ready by Easter. But with modern food preservation techniques, there's no reason we can't enjoy both year-round. Habits are hard to break, though. It may be a while before they replace hot dogs and potato salad in July. That is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Learn more online at almanac.com.
Tom Hartman is live and waiting for your call from 9 to noon weekdays on KMAS Shelton, AM 1030, FM 1033, and KMAS.com.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. They're picking up the pieces of homes ripped up by tornadoes that stormed Texas. The death toll is 11 and could rise as the search through wreckage continues. Meanwhile, the Midwest is being slammed by storms as well. ABC's Rob Marciano is in storm-torn St. Louis.
And if the situation isn't bad enough, the temperatures are hovering right around 40 degrees. So it is a cold, miserable rain, and Missouri is not alone. 14 states now under a flash flood watch as the warm sector, quote unquote, of this system pushes off towards the north and east. Tornado watch out now for New Orleans and parts of Mississippi, and that severe weather threat is going to move off to the east as we go on throughout today. So a huge multifaceted storm that is just getting underway now across the nation's heartland.
British Prime Minister David Cameron strapped on his wellies and waded into floodwaters and political controversy as he tried to battle the perception that he hasn't done enough to help flood victims. Some say poorer cities aren't getting as much help. Peyton Manning has flatly denied an Al Jazeera report that he used human growth hormone while recovering from a neck injury. ABC's Ryan Smith says the accuser, a man named Sly, worked at the rehab center, but as an intern.
Well, Al Jazeera says they confirmed Sly was working at the Institute in 2011. The Geyer Institute adds that Sly, quote, fabricated this whole thing for reasons they cannot fathom and claimed he wasn't even there while Manning was being treated.
According to a Gallup poll, this year's most admired man in the world was a tie between Pope Francis and Donald Trump. The publisher of New Hampshire's Union Leader newspaper is comparing Trump to Biff the Bully in Back to the Future. He predicts his state's voters will prove Trump's belief that he'll be the GOP nominee wrong. Before the big New Year's Eve party, New York is throwing a shredding bash. People are invited to bring bad memories from 2015 to shredding machines in Times Square and say good riddance. Star Wars has already surpassed the $1 billion mark and hasn't even been released in China. Director J.J. Abrams screened it for an audience there and says they applauded and laughed in the same spots. This is ABC News.
Another saving secret from Arm & Hammer. Most people aren't crazy about doing the laundry, but everyone loves saving money. Yeah. Arm & Hammer plus OxyClean Power Packs makes doing the wash easier with convenient single-dose packs and gives you a savings of up to 50% versus the leading pod. Ooh. And what's even better, Arm & Hammer Power Packs are the only ones with the 2-in-1 cleaning power of baking soda plus OxyClean Stain Fighters. Arm & Hammer plus OxyClean Power Packs. It has what everyone likes. Big clean, small price.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Call Quicken Loans now to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
A Pennsylvania man helped his son skip school so they could see Star Wars together. John Morrell thought he could keep his son Brock out of trouble by writing an excuse note for his absence, 3 pages long and riddled with humor and Star Wars references.
The letter was a way of expressing just how much fun we had by making it appear as though we had this great adventure.
His teacher, Jessica Klub, said it was a good try.
My first reaction was that it was the best excuse note I had ever read, and it really added it was very humorous.
Even Superintendent Dr. Mike Licklider got a kick out of it.
When a note goes over the top, you have to appreciate why they wrote it, and you have to respect the fact that a dad wanted to spend time with his son.
But not enough to excuse his absence. It was marked unexcused. Brock said, totally worth it. An 8-year-old girl in Maine is getting some big-time help in her battle with leukemia. She got a personal invitation from Tom Brady to visit him at Patriot Place in Foxborough. Thousands of well-wishers convinced him to make the gesture in an online campaign. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. A group called the Waste Action Project, part of the Northwest Toxic Communities Coalition, is suing the city of Shelton for taking too long in cleaning up the dump, also known as the Shelton landfill. Local citizen and member of the Waste Action Project, Will Durham, says the group wants to make sure the city of Shelton fulfills its obligation to clean the dump and protect the citizens and their children from further exposure to toxins from the landfill. You can read the full press release about the lawsuit on our website at KMAS.com. The former Olympia Brewery property in Tumwater has been sold for $4 million. The buyer, Tumwater Development LLC of Anaheim, California, registered as a corporation in Washington on December 14th. The vacant property has attracted potential buyers over the years, but no deal came to fruition. A public auction was held in October, and 3 of its 4 parcels received bids that were well below market value. Thurston County Treasurer Sean Myers says all the parcels have now sold at close to their assessed value. Further information about what the buyer plans to do with the property has not yet been made available. When businesses want to come into Shelton, the city and the fire department interact quite a bit to get things up to code. Shelton Community and Economic Development Director Steve Goines and Assistant Fire Chief from Central Mason Fire and EMS Mike Patty told Daybreak more.
Someone wants to come into an old building that maybe has been something else. Mel Chevrolet comes to mind. It was a car dealership, and we want to change the use into a different use. That has a lot of code ramifications that we need to coordinate. What are the exiting requirements? What are the fire protection requirements for this type of use in a building?
We meet, if not more often, at least weekly, between the fire, building, planning, engineering. We all meet together at least once a week to talk about things that are coming up. Sometimes we're hearing rumors afloat because a lot of us are out in the community, so we'll come together there and talk about what ifs. Hypotheticals. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the fire department and the city, we work surprisingly close together and have a great relationship.
See the full interview on the Daybreak page at KMAS.com. Washington state officials have decided to let the statewide drought declaration expire at the end of this year. The team that advises Governor Jay Inslee on the issue recommended that the State Department of Ecology not extend the drought declaration at this time. Another drought declaration could be considered next year if water supply conditions change. Ecology says the heavy rain and snow have eliminated the drought in western Washington, and drought conditions are improving in eastern Washington. I'm Mary Lynn Foster. Your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3 and always on KMAS.com.
We have awkward moments on the Darren Streblow Comedy Show.
I'm standing in the hallway of an expensive hotel in little strawberry underwear.
Hi, this is comedian Darren Streblow, and each week I have some of my funniest comedian friends join me on the Darren Streblow Comedy Show. You'll hear stand-up, funny music, and yes, even an occasional awkward moment. So join me and laugh on the Darren Streblow Comedy Show, Saturday nights at 9 on KMAS News Radio.
NFL playoff spots secured, others still available, and the Clown Prince of basketball is gone. Hi, everybody. Todd Ant reporting on sports. The Vikings emphatically clinched a playoff berth on Sunday night and moved into a tie with Green Bay for first place in the NFC North.
And Jerick McKinnon is loose inside the 10. Touchdown!
On KFAN, Minnesota ripped the Giants 49-17. The Jets climbed ahead of Pittsburgh for the final AFC wildcard berth thanks to a gamble by Coach Bill Belichick, who elected to kick in overtime. Ryan Fitzpatrick did the rest.
Lobs it back right corner. Decker! He's got it! Touchdown! And the Jets have won it in overtime!
On ESPN New York, Jets 26-20 over New England. The Panthers' undefeated season is over after losing 20-13 at Atlanta. Quarterback Cam Newton was candid.
We got our kick today. We can take some from it and use it for our next game against Tampa.
Carolina can still clinch home field advantage next week. More from Week 16 in the NFL. The Cardinals sacked Aaron Rodgers 8 times on their way to a first-round bye.
Snap to Rodgers, backs up, gets hit, fumbles the ball again. It's loose. It's picked up by the Cardinals, and it's Gerard Powers, and he's going to score. Greeny with the sack, and the Cardinals lead 37-8.
On KTAR, Arizona slams the Packers 38-8. So with Carolina's loss, Arizona can clinch the #1 seed with a win over Seattle next week. The Chiefs clinched a playoff spot with their 9th straight win, 17-13 over the Browns.
Second snap back to Alex Smith. Fires for catching. He makes a long catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City.
On 101, the Fox, the Steelers were stunned 20-17 in Baltimore. They dropped out of a playoff spot now to 7th place. He was called the Clown Prince of basketball. Meadowlark Lemon, who played with the Harlem Globetrotters for 4 decades, has died. His wife told the New York Times he was 83. Dave Henderson, an outfielder with 5 Major League Baseball teams, died Sunday. He was 57. And Jim O'Toole, a star pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds in the 60s, died. He was 78. Todd Ant, ABC Sports.
For News Radio 1030 KMAS Shelton, FM 103.3, and streaming online at KMAS.com. I'm Dale Hubbard, 9 minutes past 8 o'clock here on your Monday morning. Carolina Panthers won't finish the season unbeaten. They lost their first game of the season yesterday as Atlanta beat them 20-13. The loss, the first of 19 regular season games.
Hi, this is Alex Jones.
Leaves the Cam Newton-led team 14-1 on the season. NFL game tonight. Bengals playing the Broncos in Denver. And let's see, Broncos are 10-4. Bengals are 11-3. Cincinnati's already wrapped up the AFC North Championship. So the game not quite as important to them as it is to the Denver Broncos, who are finding themselves not only gambling with their number one seed, they may not even make the playoffs at all. Some scenarios, weird scenarios have to happen, but if they lose the last two games of the season, they could effectively be eliminated from postseason play. Not eliminated from the postseason, but certainly deserving of such yesterday. Oh, it was tough to watch Seattle. I don't know if they started reading their headlines from the 5-game winning streak or what, but they got punched in the nose by the St. Louis Rams again, just like they started the season. 23-17, the final yesterday at CenturyLink. Seattle failed to lead in a game for the first time since Russell Wilson's become a professional quarterback. That goes back to the first game of the 2012 season. It's a long time ago. And also another streak that ended, 5-game winning streak, never, at least leading at one time during all the games that Russell Wilson has been in, including playoffs. And then the Seahawks streak of having 100 yards rushing as a team ended with only 60 yards rushing yesterday. Seattle lost at home for the third time this year as well. So a lot of streaks came to a grinding halt in the rain and snow mixed of CenturyLink yesterday afternoon. The last regular season game of the year for Seattle is in Arizona against the Cardinals, who have only 2 losses all season long and could have home field advantage throughout the playoffs should they beat Seattle, and that's all the incentive they need to bring their A game next week. We'll see what Seattle comes up with. And as mentioned in the National Sportscast, former Major Leaguer Dave Henderson, longtime Seattle Mariner, passed away over the weekend at the age of 57, massive heart attack. He'd just undergone some kidney treatment in October, and kidney transplant, I think, is what he was either awaiting or getting prepared for, and had cardiac arrest in the hospital. He leaves behind 2 boys and his wife. He was only 57. And over the weekend, congratulations to the Cougs, who scored a 20-14 win over Miami in the snowy Sun Bowl at El Paso over the weekend. And it was Luke Falk throwing for a bajillion yards, and the Cougars 9-4 as they end this season, their first bowl win since the 2003 Holiday Bowl, way back in the day. So that is Sports Notes. We do have Monday Night Football, the Bengals-Broncos game for you at 4:45 this afternoon, and tomorrow night online on KMAS.com. HD video coverage of the high climbers, the ladies against Hoquiam from the Mini Dome. We'll begin our coverage just before 7 o'clock, we being Jeff and Dale.
And the South Sound forecast taking us to that basketball game. 32 right now with maybe a little misty out there right now. You may see a little bit of mist right in your face. What is that noise?
Misty.
32. 39 the high today. Other than that, real kind of just cloudy day. Maybe a little bit of snow tomorrow, but not really anything to write home about. Wednesday through the rest of the year. I'll look to be low 40s. And upper 20s for the low with no precipitation. 8:15.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now from Shelton's Media Row, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It's Monday here at KMAS, KMAS.com, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale. Carol's in studio with us this morning.
Good morning.
Settling in.
I'm settling in.
You have a nice holiday?
I had a great holiday. You?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a great holiday as well.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff?
Oh, I had a wonderful. It was awesome.
Did you have as much fun as Kaiser? Or did he have fun? Did he know what really was going on?
You know,
besides
he
people?
kind of really got into, obviously he doesn't, I don't think, understand the true meaning of Christmas, if that's what you're wondering.
I don't even understand the true meaning.
But he was able to, so basically, and this is kind of new for us, we had all the girls, everybody met at my dad's place, and we had dinner, which was delicious, and here you go, this is good. So took some broccoli, steamed it for 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and then in it you add a good amount of butter melted, a little soy sauce, a little garlic, maybe a little vinegar in there, mix it all together, and then cashews. And then you pour all that on top of the
Cashews
broccoli,
make the broccoli.
and it really is nice. The butter and the soy sauce. And
So
the
like
garlic.
a sweet and sour type of a...
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, not really sweet, I guess. No sweet.
Not sweet, but they had a little soy taste, and the cashews definitely had.
Nice.
So anyways, then we handed out the presents while I was trying to read 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, which did not work out, but it was still fun. And then the girls and Kaiser, my nieces and Kaiser, really just went at it. And normally it's all opens up. This is from Dale, and here it is. And then Dale will open some of this, and then you go, and then it's a circle. Well, the kids just
They don't care.
ripped into it. He got it. He understood. He was opening things.
But did he go, did his eyes light up like, this is what did he know
you may
that
be
it was
surprised
his?
No.
Okay.
You may be surprised to find out that he was more enthralled with the paper.
No, I'm not surprised to find that out
He
at all.
really was all about
like
just the wrapping paper.
Yeah, that's usually what it is
Yeah,
at
that
that
could have
age.
been enough.
Yeah, that would be the big thing.
Yeah.
It's crinkly and bright colors. And
Yeah, no, he did good though. And then when we got home and there were presents that were still wrapped, he didn't run over and unwrap them. So I think he got it. As much as a year and a half year old,
Close
an
enough.
18-month-old can gather.
How about you?
Oh, good. It's so funny how when you're a kid, you just rip into the presents. When you get older, like one person opens it, then the next person opens it, and then the next person opens it.
Yeah.
But it's sort of fun to do it that way because then you can sort of see what the other person has gotten and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So you had a nice gathering. Christmas, you guys do Christmas Eve night or the morning?
Christmas Day.
Christmas
Usually-
Day.
Christmas morning. Well, now it's not so early.
Not as early as when you were kids.
Yeah.
Right.
That's funny. Yeah.
We had the people show up to our house Christmas Day, 9:30. 9:30, we eat at 9:45, and the presents are just to follow.
Jeez.
That's pretty late. I think, from what I'd gathered, Stephanie would be up at 3 in the morning when she was a kid.
Wow.
That's a little early, but yeah, we were up pretty early. Probably at 6.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before the break, we were talking movies, and we're talking the concussion movie, and then I said, well, do the guys who are hot dog champs want to see how you make the hot dogs?
Right, but I guess what I had thought of while you were talking about that was the concussion movies is more towards the other people, not because you're like the people who are doing it are like, yeah, I know what I'm getting into, but it's the other people that have the children that I think will be more apt to go to the movie and then maybe take it in versus the person eating the hot dogs. They're the ones that are doing it to themselves.
Right.
The concussions affect more than just that person, I guess. Does that make sense?
You mean the caregivers, the family members
Yes.
that have to suffer the consequences
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
of dementia and all that? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a big fallout from that. And they'll probably be more pressure from family.
Right. That's what I mean. More pressure from other people versus than just the players to get something figured out about
Absolutely. And then our conversation went to parents.
it. Right.
Of kids. And I think I mentioned last week, there's some Pop Warner football leagues that are already feeling the effects of all the publicity about concussions, and they're having a real downturn in the amount of kids that are enrolling for these Pop Warner kids football leagues. And just a lot of parents are saying, I'm not going to subject my kid to that kind of collision activity until they're older. So So that's going to have an impact somewhere down the road about all this. Big, powerful movie, probably one not to miss.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Habitat for Humanity of Mason County wants to thank their generous donors for their contributions this year and want to remind you there's more work to be done in 2016. Habitat for Humanity of Mason County will be sending out letters requesting financial support from you. Be watching for those letters to arrive in the mail and consider donating your dollars to help Habitat for Humanity's mission of providing affordable housing and home rehabilitation to those in need. Wishing you and your family the happiest of holidays. Habitat for Humanity of Mason County.
Is your business targeting the state's largest payroll? Military personnel at JBLM and Naval Base Kitsap surpass all others, and Swarner Communications gives your businesses direct reach into those markets with newspaper advertising, face-to-face events, email blasts, mobile marketing, reputation management, and more, all for one affordable price. Call Swarner Communications today, 253-584-1212.
Good morning, this is Sheriff Casey Salisbury. You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS.
All right, good morning to you. It's 8:22 here at KMAS, KMAS.com. Jeff and Dale, Carol's in here still on another short week. We're going to have Friday off. Some great programming for you.
Probably the end of a civilization as we know it.
On Friday, including we'll have some programs from ABC, including Playback 2015. We had a good year-end retrospective on last Friday. We'll do it again this Friday with 3 new shows.
Okay, 3 new shows.
Yeah, Playback 2015, ABC News offering their year-end of the Perspective show. And this one includes an exclusive interview with apparently one of the top 2 most awesome dudes in the country. We just heard it in the news, the Pope and Trump, right? Those are the top. It's either this guy's awesome
Are they on Time
or this
Magazine
guy's
yet?
awesome. So Pope Francis on an ABC
Are they going to be
interview.
on together?
No.
Wouldn't be awesome. That'd be get ratings.
It'd be huge.
I'd watch that.
And then the Economy 2015 year interview is on Friday as well from 8 until 9. So Star Wars is still number 1 at the box office. Carol, did you see any movies or anything?
Actually, I saw Interstellar finally.
Interstellar. We were just talking about that, making it the most pirated movie of 2015 with almost 47 million individual downloads.
Right. No, I did not pirate it. Amazon Prime has it streaming.
So it's just free.
Yeah, so that was, free because I pay for Amazon Prime.
Do you like Interstellar? What's the point of this one?
did.
That's that Matthew McConaughey one?
Yeah, did you not see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's actually, it's a much better than I thought it was. Did you see it at all?
No. What?
Oh,
What's it?
well, it's basically in the future, and Earth becomes a big dust bowl, basically. We've totally screwed the Earth over.
Are they playing football?
Oh, no, I did see
I'm
that
not sure if they're
movie.
playing football or not.
Oh, okay.
But it's interesting how it brings in time and relativity, and how when you go out in space, time stretches, and it's sort of a lot to squish into a movie, and it sort of just touched on stuff. It didn't get super deep in certain
Didn't
aspects.
explain a lot of it as just was.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the movie, you don't realize that it's the future. Is that right? You're kind of like, wait a second, these guys are living like Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
And you realize it's in the future.
Right. It's in the future, and there's
and then the time shifting, and he was old or they were young or something. I don't remember, but it was something about that.
Yeah. It was without spoiling it, but it was pretty good.
Years old, who cares?
But I thought it was interesting because this movie, and remember Communion with Jodie Foster?
Yeah.
They sort of touch on this. Oh, Contact. What was Communion?
Communion was the first the alien abduction.
Oh, that's right. So Contact, that movie and this movie were sort of similar in aspects that they were scientific, and then they became a little interesting on what actually we don't know,
Sure.
type of a thing.
Both with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, versus like Star Wars or Star Trek, which are really often to a different galaxy far, far away. I mean, there's so many different, and then there's like The Martian, and then the one with Sandra Bullock, which I forgot the name of that movie also. Gravity, where they have to use their mind and try to figure out how to survive. So it's interesting how all different aspects of space movies are out there.
There's a lot of
You
them.
can get whatever you want.
I sat down at the theater yesterday for Star Wars. I go, "This is the
did
one
you?
with Spock, right?" Everybody just looks.
You did not.
Yeah, this is a Spock one, right? I love these tribbles. I go, to infinity and beyond.
You did not. Yeah. They didn't like take you out of the
People were definitely
theater.
saying, "Oh, here's another one of these guys."
So, yeah, good.
Seinfeld's in the theater.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, that's what everybody says, and I eventually will get there.
It was so much better than episodes 1, 2, 3. It was very, I'm thinking
You mean
back.
because episodes 1, 2, 3 were the latter ones.
The most recent trilogy.
Yeah.
It just seemed like there was less talking, more action.
Yeah, true.
I made it a point to try to find the computer graphics. I says, well, this is quite the space battle. Let's see what we can find.
Yeah.
And I was having a hard time.
And it goes fast. It's in your face, the battles.
I was having a real hard time finding this computer graphics. It was for good. It was really good.
It was good. Yeah, you'll like it.
Yeah, I'm sure I
In
will.
the end, leaves you
ready for more.
The next one.
Mhm.
You've seen
I
the
like those
previous
kind.
Harrison Ford's in the previous, right?
Right.
He's old looking.
Yeah, well, he's 72 years old, Jeff.
Well, I know. I'm just saying. He looks.
But did
pretty old.
he and Chewbacca, did they not scene stealers? I mean, were they not the best part
I
of the...
talked about earlier when people were cheering in the theater when they saw old favorites.
Yeah.
And that, sure enough,
yeah,
even the Falcon. As soon as they showed the
ship.
boat or whatever it was, people start clapping.
I know.
It was really
they're fans. They're big fans. Yeah. So, very good stuff. And then as Matthew McConaughey would say, all right. Future or not.
He keeps getting older, and the droids say the same age. Remember that from Dazed and Confused?
I never actually saw that movie.
That was the guy. That was how he got that persona. He's now kind of the all right guy.
Well, there you go. I
He
never
loved that
saw the
character.
movie.
You never saw Dazed and Confused? Oh, it's a great one.
I'll have to put it on my list of
I had a
other
roommate that
movies.
wore a Dazed and Confused t-shirt. He won a Halloween contest. He was dazed and confused all the time anyway. So he put that shirt on. They went, perfect.
You win.
He won. He won like $50. He was happy. He was dazed and confused, but he was happy when he remembered the next day.
I believe the market is open this week, another short week. So we'll talk with Karen Shade here shortly.
In a few moments, she should be calling from somewhere. We never... She's calling from.
We're still expecting to speak with Lynn Longan after the news as well. Port of Call Wednesday with Dick Taylor and John Dobson. We'll see if they want to swing in. Again, it's a short week, though. Thursday, join us for a exit interview, if you will. This time, outgoing City of Shelton Commissioner of Finance and Accounting, Mike Olson, will sit behind the mic for the last time as a commissioner in this tenure. Who knows what the future holds, but we'll talk with him about his time as a commissioner and what he has for the future. Lots of pickleball, I'm guessing, but we'll make sure we find that out to be sure.
Yes, indeed. And then I'm going to try to arrange, Carol may be in here for Wednesday and Thursday morning with you.
Okay.
Perhaps.
All right, just let me know.
I'll let you know.
You said like at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
hey, can you make it?
Carol, what's the deal with Red Rock Canyon in Las Vegas? You are spent time in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, I heard
Went
the
to Red
hiker
Rock?
fell off and died.
Yeah, and he's from here. Yeah, he's from
Yeah.
Washington.
Is that a treacherous?
It can be.
Rock
There
area?
are treacherous trails, and there's a lot of cacti that you can get stuck with. So maybe he hit some cacti, or
he was with a bunch of people, but he was the only one that fell.
He was obviously not paying attention
Yeah.
to
So
his trail.
Do you walk along tight paths, or are you like rock climbing?
Well,
what do you do when you get to Red Rock?
I think it's mostly trails. There could be some rock climbing areas. I mean, I'm not quite sure, but you travel in, and then there's all sorts of different levels of trails that you can go on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful. I mean, when I was there, it's just
How far out of Las Vegas proper?
About 15 miles or
not very far.
a little bit after.
Wow.
You could jog out there.
None did nowadays.
Well, the funny thing is when I lived there, which was a million years ago,
it was only 13 miles.
No, it was a lot farther out of Vegas because Vegas has expanded.
Right. Vegas was smaller.
Yes, Vegas was a lot smaller.
Vegas was a one-horse town. Like
Hey. Well, that's that time-space continuum thing. That's why I keep staying the same age because I just go back and forth in time.
It's a beautiful thing.
You're a looper.
It works that way.
One thing I did get that I think all of us could enjoy into the new year is a day hike of the Olympic peninsulas. Day hikes in the Olympics.
I've got a book.
I just got a book too.
I think I have that book also.
Waterproof.
I don't have the map though. But I have a book of the day hikes. I think it's day hikes of the Olympics.
I think it's pretty exciting.
Yours is the new and improved version. He's got the third generation.
Jeez, mine's dog-eared. And
I was excited that it was a tear-free, water-free.
Yeah, that's nice.
Isn't that nice?
Good.
All right, Karen Shade's on the line from Edward Jones. Hello.
Well, you've got Sherry this morning.
Sherry. Hi,
this
Sherry.
morning.
Hi, everybody. Did you have a nice Christmas?
Oh, we sure did. What about yourself?
Oh,
was it Christmas?
It was fantastic.
That's awesome. So I guess Karen had a great Christmas. She didn't even bother to show up today.
That, or I think the shopping finally caught up with her.
Just needed a day of respite.
I think so.
A holiday from her holiday.
Exactly.
Well, Sherry, what's the dilly on Wall Street this morning?
Well, this morning, U.S. stocks are mixed after a 3-day rally in a shortened holiday trading session. In economic news, initial claims for unemployment benefits fell more than expected last week, nearly a 42-year low as labor market conditions continue to tighten. Over the past 12 months, the number of people collecting benefits has dropped 7.7% to 2.2 million. Treasuries are a little changed in early trading. So far this morning in the S&P 500, the best sector is technology, while the worst is energy. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 39.59 at 17,563. Standard & Poor's 500 Index is down 2.19 at 2,062. The NASDAQ Index is up 6.06 at 5,052. This morning, volume of the New York Stock Exchange is low with about 130.1 million shares traded. Advancers are outnumbering decliners by roughly a 5-4 margin. In commodity markets, gold is up $4.78 to $1,075.28. Silver is up 5 cents to $14.36. Crude oil prices are up 33 cents to $37.83. In bond markets, the 30-year Treasury yield is currently 2.97%, and the 10-year Treasury yield is at 2.25. In local stocks today, we have Amazon that is up $4.35. Costco is down 16 cents. Boeing is down 36 cents. Starbucks is down 51 cents, and Microsoft is down 61 cents. This is Sherry of Edward Jones, a member of the SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and long-term financial service at 1051 Southeast State Route 3, Suite E in Shelton. If you'd like additional information, you can contact me or Karen at 426-4590. Thank you guys and have a great day. Bye.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. A group called the Waste Action Project, part of the Northwest Toxic Communities Coalition, is suing the city of Shelton for taking too long in cleaning up the dump, also known as the Shelton landfill. Local citizen and member of the Waste Action Project, Will Durham, says the group wants to make sure the city of Shelton fulfills its obligation to clean the dump and protect the citizens and their children from further exposure to toxins from the landfill. You can read the full press release about the lawsuit on our website at KMAS.com. The former Olympia Brewery property in Tumwater has been sold for $4 million. The buyer, Tumwater Development LLC of Anaheim, California, registered as a corporation in Washington on December 14th. The vacant property has attracted potential buyers over the years, but no deal came to fruition. A public auction was held in October, and 3 of its 4 parcels received bids that were well below market value. Thurston County Treasurer Sean Myers says all the parcels have now sold at close to their assessed value. Further information about what the buyer plans to do with the property has not yet been made available. When businesses want to come into Shelton, the city and the fire department interact quite a bit to get things up to code. Shelton Community and Economic Development Director Steve Goines and Assistant Fire Chief from Central Mason Fire and EMS Mike Patty told Daybreak more.
Someone wants to come into an old building that maybe has been something else. Mel Chevrolet comes to mind. It was a car dealership, and we want to change the use into a different use. That has a lot of code ramifications that we need to coordinate. What are the exiting requirements? What are the fire protection requirements for this type of use in a building?
We meet, if not more often, at least weekly, between the fire, building, planning, engineering. We all meet together at least once a week to talk about things that are coming up. Sometimes we're hearing rumors afloat because a lot of us are out in the community, so we'll come together there and talk about what ifs. Hypotheticals. So yeah, the fire department and the city, we work surprisingly close together and have a great relationship.
See the full interview on the Daybreak page at KMAS.com. Washington state officials have decided to let the statewide drought declaration expire at the end of this year. The team that advises Governor Jay Inslee on the issue recommended that the State Department of Ecology not extend the drought declaration at this time. Another drought declaration could be considered next year if water supply conditions change. Ecology says the heavy rain and snow have eliminated the drought in western Washington, and drought conditions are improving in eastern Washington. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
I'm attorney Harold Carr. During the past 25 years, more than 8,000 people have trusted me to handle their personal injury cases. I understand how an injury can disrupt your life and cause financial hardship for you and your family. At the law firm of Harold Carr, we have 5 attorneys and 19 staff members experienced with negotiating and litigating with insurance companies. So if you feel the insurance company is not dealing with you fairly, call me, Harold Carr. Let us deal with the insurance company so you won't have to.
Car accident? Call Carr or visit us online at haroldcarrattorney.com.
Somebody called classified has tempted me to answer. That's an interesting, plus there's a big picture of the gray on this guy's Skype. So classified, hello.
Mr. Bell, can you hear me?
I can.
I have to keep this very brief, so I'll get to the point. I was involved with an organization that hacked into classified NSA servers, top secret.
Seriously?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, seriously?
Midnight in the Desert with Art Bell, live weeknights 9 to midnight on KMAS.
They don't make them like that anymore.
No, they sure don't.
Am I on the air now? Is she on the air too?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I could be.
For Newsradio 1030 KMAS Shelton, FM 103.3 and KMAS.com, I'm Dale Hubbard. It is 8:38 here on a Monday morning, and in sports notes, bad day in Seahawksville. What was...
Bad day over here, too.
I guess so. What was it? The old Casey at bat, and it was a...
Yeah, Mudville.
Bad day in Mudville. Man. Anyway, so there were the Seahawks, and there were the St. Louis Rams. The Rams came to play football. I don't know what the Seahawks came to do, but it wasn't play football. And they got thumped. Got thumped hard and often. And the final was 23-17, but it could have been worse. It was 16-0 before everybody even found their seat.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the only first time since Russell Wilson started for the Seahawks, which was the first game of the year in 2012, that we have never had a lead in the football game.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. It is the first time that we never scored, never ran for 100 yards or more in 25 games. Lots of significant records like that that we won't dwell on. We have to get ready for the Arizona Cardinals, who can clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And that goes a long way to getting you to the Super Bowl. And so you can bet they'll have plenty of incentive and motivation for beating the Seahawks when we go to Arizona. And they beat us already once at CenturyLink. So they're probably licking their chops after watching the video from yesterday's game.
Yeah.
They dispatched a Green Bay Packer team that beat us. They humiliated them. It was 38-8. And they sacked Aaron Rodgers 6 times. And he looked like a rag doll back there. Mm-hmm. I am fearful for Russell Wilson's safety next week. I was fearful for his safety yesterday.
Yeah, it was
on occasion. So that's basically, I don't want to be a big downer, Debbie Downer here on this whole thing, but the Seahawks did not look very good yesterday, and they have the playoffs looming, and they have to do something pretty spectacular next week to feel good going into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. One of the players did say, well, it was a good thing it was just a regular season game and not a playoff game. We can't afford to do stuff like this in January, which is stating the obvious, but at least it was stated.
I mean, they can't afford to do it in January. This next game, they can do it, too.
Yeah, they can lay an egg this Sunday. No big deal.
Still regular season. So the guy's not quite sure on his schedule.
Cougs with a win in the Sun Bowl on over the weekend, 20-14, beating Miami. And the Cougs' first win of a bowl game since the 2004 game Holiday Bowl down in San Diego. And so congratulations on a fine season. 9-4 is how the Cougars finished. And the Huskies with a win over Southern Mississippi and then a quick exit out of Dallas as a devastating storm ensued.
Yeah, they got out of there
about the moment the final gun shot off. They exit stage right, and then the people that were left behind, devastating. 12 people killed in that storm, and more storms are in the forecast for Dallas right now. It's unprecedented. That is a weather topic, though, so I'm going to say adieu for sports and turn it over to my weather forecaster extraordinary.
We are definitely not in store for anything like that.
Good.
And now the forecast has changed for tomorrow. I was talking all morning about snow. Now we're not looking at really anything over the next 10 days. We're going to be at about 40. That'll be the high until next week. And then the lows are going to be in the upper 20s. So chilly, but no precipitation. So we're good there. 32 currently, and good morning to you.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email, or Facebook. Now, from somewhere in the wilderness of the Olympic Peninsula, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
Delish. All right, good morning to you. Daybreak here, 8:43 on a Monday.
It must be time for economic talk.
Let's talk economics. Let's talk about development. Let's talk about the council.
All those. Who better to speak to those topics than the director of the Economic Development Council, Lynn Longan.
Good morning.
Morning, Lynn.
Hi. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
And now we're done with no more Merry Christmas.
I know. I felt myself wanting to say Happy New Year, but I'm like, no, that's next week.
Yeah. So
we still have a few days.
Now you can start saying New Year.
Okay.
Pretty kind of sort of. Actually, it's more appropriate.
Or we can just enjoy the last of 2015.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So what do you got planned this week? Got big things going on?
Well, we're having a staff retreat on Wednesday. It's a short week.
Yeah.
Only 4 hours. We're having a staff retreat where we're going to hammer out our work plan for the upcoming year.
Yeah.
You know, I told you we worked on committees and our board retreat, and now we're going to take that information and we're going to put it together in a work plan for 2016. So I'm excited to get that started, and we're going to do a calendar, and I'm going to try really hard in the next 2 weeks to get a calendar up on our website that has all of our luncheons for the year and our events.
Okay.
Wow.
Right.
That'd be good. That'd be very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked last week about your 20 or so board members and these committees that they're in. Is that a normal thing for the EDC to have not that many board members, but that many board members interested in being active? A lot of times these are just kind of sitting positions.
I can't speak for every EDC. I got to know quite a few of them when I worked at the state. It's pretty unique. I'm just thrilled that this board, everybody, I said, okay, when I first did this a year ago, and I said, let's do these committees and see how it goes, right? Yeah. And I said, I would really like everyone to at least sign up for one.
Sure.
And so they all just kind of looked at each other and talked a little bit, and they all decided they were doing at least 2 each.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So, yeah, it does.
Do like-minded groups tend to gather on these types of projects, or do you see that there are some folks that come from disparate parts of the community that'll work together?
I think that the latter there.
Yeah.
I do. I think that, and I think they're torn. A couple of them said, can we only be on 2,
Right.
Although they do have to monitor their own time because they all have their own jobs and businesses to run. And
Yeah. So, but that's still.
And we try to be mindful of that. And the staff tries to take on, a lot of the actual work.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys come together, brainstorm, figure out what we can do.
And bring the ideas to you.
Right. And then we'll carry them out.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Can you tip your hand a little bit for 2016, things that we might look forward to? Some highlights coming down the pike?
We're going to complete that RFP on the PUD building and getting a business resource center in.
Mm-hmm.
And so at some point, we're hoping by the midpoint of the year, we'll have that report back and we'll figure out what direction we're going to go in from that.
Okay.
Is there a lot of work to be done over there for what you need it for?
In the actual building?
In the building proper?
There's not a lot of work that has to be done right away.
That's good.
But it would depend on how it came out. I mean, what if it were like a hub, a shared space? We'd need more open space. So there might be a wall or 2 that would need to be redesigned.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Right. And just that building that was old PUD building, no other parts of the... Are there any other parcels from PUD left out about the community? I know across the way is still a pay center.
Right. They still have the pay center there. And with this RFP, with this study that we're doing, this feasibility study, we're looking at it kind of 2 ways. So we're not just looking at if we did a business resource center, it would have to be in the PUD building.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one of the things. Would it make sense?
Right.
And we also want to look at different uses for the PUD building. So if it's not a business resource center, what's the best use of it? Is it a call center? Is it, I mean, what is it? And so once we can get that going, say it is a call center, then we would go out and we would put together an active approach of how to try to recruit that type of business there.
What do you need for a call center? Just fast internet? And
fast internet, good parking.
Parking, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. The workforce for it. So some call centers, we put in an RFP for one. I think it was this last year that we did. They wanted, you had to be within so many miles of ITT Tech because it was a medical call center.
Oh, okay.
And so they wanted to use the workforce coming out of there. Yeah.
Huh.
And I don't know, they probably got a lot of responses all over the country, so.
Yeah. Well, but you keep putting enough RFPs out.
Yeah.
You're going to get some takers.
Exactly. And one of the big things that I think about this, every time we do one, we learn a little bit more of, why weren't we competitive there? And so by knowing that, we know where we need to concentrate on changing, if that's what we really want.
Do they kind of critique your application after the fact or let you know where you landed in the...
Not always. The state will.
Okay.
The state will let us know what they know about it. And
Plus, people.
And sometimes, a lot of the time, it's something that is just out of your control.
Yeah.
Maybe the site selector had family in another state or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
a lot of
really an abstract reason.
A lot of it really is. Or the CEO's wife liked that community or something. it's just, a lot of it really is out of your control.
Sure.
But there are things we can control. We need to know what they are so that we can make those changes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's to a great new year.
I'm looking forward to it.
And when you come back, it'll be next year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it will.
2016. Wow.
It'll be January 4th. Wow, he is right. Wowzer.
Yep.
Okay, well, then we'll just look forward to the new year. We'll put the caps on this year that was, which great strides forward. Great board assembled.
Yes.
Good luncheons were had. Good community outreach. And continue on. Keep doing the good work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks for the coffee.
Yeah. And
You're welcome.
say hi to your partners in crime over there.
I will.
Brian and Jennifer. We can't do it without them.
Nope, we can't.
So that's awesome. Lynn Long, Executive Director of the Economic Development Council of Mason County. Mason Jobs. What? What's the website?
ChooseMason.com.
See, I was close. Had the Mason part right.
Even
ChooseMason.com. See you next week.
Okay.
8:50 on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Northwest Real Estate Shelton, and Gateway Property Management would like to wish their friends, families, and clients a warm and happy holiday season, and we look forward to serving you in the new year.
At this special time of the year, a special message from your friends at Whitney's Chevrolet. May the miracle of Christmas bring thoughts of joy and peace. Happy holidays and best wishes for the new year from Whitney's Chevrolet.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom31.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom31.com. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom31.com.
The Chad Benson Show.
But you can't attack Trump and not expect to get hammered. And where the Republicans are missing this is he is paving the way to victory if they would just listen. He's giving them a rule book on how to play the media and, most importantly, how to handle crisis.
The Chad Benson Show.
Hi, this is Chad Benson. Please check out my show this afternoon from 3 to 6 on KMAS News Radio.
Get ready. It's time to tee it up with Keith Jones.
If we really want to talk about, where you want to have, short-term, long-term improvement, it's that 6-inch fairway that Bobby Jones said is the most important fairway of golf. That's the fairway between your ears and the expectations that people have coming into the new season and really what they would like to accomplish.
Tee it up with Keith Jones. All right.
Good morning. I'm Thurston County Sheriff John Snaza, and you're listening to Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Good.
8:54 here at KMAS at KMAS.com.
Just not a bomb under the Christmas tree.
It wasn't?
No.
What was it then?
It was a homemade battery pack. This is in Boise, Idaho. The bomb squad called in to a homeless shelter over the weekend. Janitor found something suspicious.
Sure.
Under the tree, and apparently one of the shelter's tech-savvy guests had made a battery pack out of toilet paper roll, some batteries, food wrap, and wires, and they rigged it up to light the star on the top of the Christmas tree.
Okay.
A shelter spokeswoman did say that it did kind of look like a bomb.
Well,
but it wasn't a bomb.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
So they're using, I see. So they kind of take some batteries, fill up the toilet paper roll.
Yeah.
Because you can do that if you have.
And then wire it.
Yeah, if you've got like a AA battery, you could soup it up to fit in a D size with the right wiring.
Sure. And then you can light the star on the top of the tree.
Oh.
But laying loosely underneath a tree, somebody could get a little nervous, like a janitor.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody explained it to him.
What's this for? Toilet paper batteries. And wires.
I don't remember my bomb making class, but I think those are all the ingredients that you need. Also, here's a Church of City Grazing, the Genevieve Church of City Grazing, but you would be surprised to find that this church is in San Francisco. Home of strange churches. The company rents out its goats for weed eating in the Bay Area. Genevieve Church of City Grazing tells the San Francisco Chronicle they need the Christmas trees for their goats to add nutrients to their diet. And so they're asking folks to drop off all their used trees for goat feed.
So this is a church that has goats.
Yeah. And they graze, the goats graze to clear land for people, but they hire them out. They don't give them to people. So they probably do the church handle for tax purposes.
Yeah.
Is the only reason.
Well, I mean, it's kind of reminiscent of that, the Love Inc. golf tournament. They got the different churches that do the different things, like the church for firewood. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, do they have a church of... They don't call it the church.
Well, I mean, like this church is involved in doling out firewood.
Right.
This church is involved with doling out toiletries.
I got you. Yeah.
This church is involved with doling out goats to people.
Yeah, maybe you might be right onto something there. Yeah. Yeah. And, it might not be long before Seattle will be in Green Bay playing the Packers in the playoffs.
Wouldn't that be something?
So the Green Bay mayor, Jim Schmidt, wants to share the legend of the Lucky Llama. If you've never heard of it, you're not alone. Schmidt's spinning the yarn to get people to come downtown on New Year's Eve, saying people who see the llama will have good fortune in the new year. He tells the Green Bay Press-Gazette, the llama will make its appearance before a New Year's Eve fireworks show. Kind of like Groundhog Day, only it's Llama Day in Green Bay.
I hope the llama knows that there is a fireworks show.
I don't know how they react to that.
They spit. Llamas spit at everything.
Well, so
They'll
you might
spit on the fuse.
Might want to get some of those covers that you have to wear in front of the magician.
Splatter guard?
Yeah, there you go. That's what you need.
I would be nervous for this llama.
I'd be worried about.
And are llamas native to the climate of Green Bay?
I don't think that they are, but I've seen them in snowy country, so they probably adjust well.
All right.
We have a big special guest. We have a special show for everybody tomorrow. We want you to tune in. The Tuesday edition of Daybreak, the 29th. Until then, have a safe Monday.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. How did turkey and ham get to be the official meats of the holidays? We investigate on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom27.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom27.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom27.com. Go to freedom27.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom27.com.
With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Monday, December 28th. It is the 362nd day of the year, and Denzel Washington has a birthday. You might have wondered, as we have, why some foods like turkey and ham are standard holiday fare. Before the modern era, there were certainly practical reasons. Turkeys were tastiest in the fall as their hormones shifted in the cooling weather and they fattened up. Meat preservation was easier in the winter, so hogs were commonly butchered in the fall. After curing for several months, hams were ready by Easter. But with modern food preservation techniques, there's no reason we can't enjoy both year-round. Habits are hard to break, though. It may be a while before they replace hot dogs and potato salad in July. That is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Learn more online at almanac.com.
Dave Ramsey helps you handle your money on KMAS Shelton, weekdays from noon to 3, AM 1030, FM 1033, and online at KMAS.com.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Joan Bennett. A travel nightmare spreading across the country. Roads across the Texas Panhandle have been closed due to ice and blizzard conditions. One man trying to drive across the country says he spent the night on Interstate 10, where everyone was sleeping in their cars. ABC's Ryan Burrow in Chicago.
Here in Chicago, the high winds and sleet are making for an uncomfortable walk. The roads aren't much better. The city's deployed more than 200 snowplows and salt trucks. At O'Hare Airport, the bad weather has led to delays of over a half hour. Milwaukee crews are pre-salting roads ahead of what's expected to be an afternoon snow burst. Parts of Minnesota are expecting 6 to 10 inches of snow. Power companies across the region are warning about possible outages. Ryan Burrow, ABC News, Chicago.
Nearly 900 flights have been canceled across the U.S. Chicago is reeling again from the latest police shooting. 2 people killed, including a 55-year-old grandmother, while officers responded to a